There we go. We're now live. And we're going to be waiting on Raj. I don't think we'll have a long wait. Just coming back to my YouTube now. I had to restart it because my boomer levels are impressive. Even just now I clicked on the wrong thing and I've left YouTube. Right, okay, let's come back down. Bear with me and I'll be able to see the chat and I'll be able to see all the lovely abuse, which I have no doubt is going on.
Monday.com is a team management tool.
Wow, I'm getting an advert. I bet I don't get anything for that.
Wasted on the marketing news, carefully reminding Jessica of her. Monday.com is a team.
There we go. Right, I suppose I'd better go and delete the other stream, really. So I can do that on my phone whilst we're waiting for Raj to pop in. My videos. Okay. If anyone wants to pop in the other chat and tell them we're over here, that'd be good of you. I suppose I better plug my headphones in. There we go. That's better. Hello, crew. We're just waiting on Raj. But I think I had better go and quickly delete the other video because it's going to confuse people. They're better off just coming to this one here. Because it's live at the minute. How do I delete this? It's not giving me the option to delete it. So I've gone and put in the other chat that there's a new live. For some reason, my YouTube is playing right up. It's not letting me delete this one. Why, I don't know. So I'll just have to come back to the other page, to the live in which I'm actually on.
Monday.com is a platform to manage any team and any
I don't understand when I got adverts.
project.
When did this
Marketing
happen?
campaigns, classic project management, sales pipelines, creative.
Right, okay.
To manage any team.
Hello, ladies and gents. Yeah, honk honk and all that. If anyone can be bothered to pop over to the other chat and let them know that that's dead. I'm going onto my phone, right, and I'm refreshing my phone, and that other one just it's not in existence. So I'm going to go to where I linked it. Oh, I better link this one out first, actually. So link it out via Telegram. For those that aren't on Telegram, it really is. Oh, right. Yes, Glenn. Yes, mate. Oh, there you go. Still waiting on Raj. I was on the phone a minute ago, so I'm not sure what he's up to. There we go. Raj equals Indian timing. There's people in here all calling Dan Antifa. I've spoken to Dan a couple of times. I don't really think it's relevant if he is or he isn't. Obviously, we're known for not being friends with Antifa at all, but I'd rather give the opportunity for someone to change their ways than be forever enemies, even if they were Antifa. Obviously, there's just information you don't give them, but I don't think he is personally. I have been wrong before. It has happened once or twice. Why do you have mods not a fan of freedom of speech? Freedom of speech, interesting subject, isn't it? Interesting idea. But you got to understand that in today's spectrum, you don't get punished for the crap that goes online. We do. So most people that say things like that are usually on anonymous profiles. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. Who knows? But there's a lot of people that say unnecessary things just because we got a ridiculous narrative from the far left when it comes to language. Doesn't mean I would have had disgusting things said had none of that existed. What's my view on Sadiq Khan? Not a good one. Not a good one. Certainly hateful against Brits. Certainly hateful against whites. Definitely. Your mod will time people out of freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is really subjective, isn't it? Because yes, I defend it, but then you can include anything in that, can't you? Right, and unfortunately, there's a lot of lefties that are using that excuse to entrap people via what they say. Come on, Raj, where are you, mate? He might have texted me, actually. He may well have texted me. Where is he? No link yet. Oh, I'll redo it. So everyone, bear with my super top boomerage. Going into Discord, so you're going to hear lots of bleeps. Do apologise for the silence, ladies and gents. Just trying to get this done as quickly as possible. I know I've already wasted enough of your time. But you know what it's like when Raj gets on. It's all go, all noise, all action. Don't you worry. Right, here we go. Go back to here. Generate a new link, just to be sure. Oh, what a melon I am. Right, here we go. Paste. Sorry about this, Raj, mate. Send. Gosh. Let me know you got that, because I sent it a while ago, so I don't know if there's something wrong with my email. It wouldn't surprise me. Can I be heard properly or not before he jumps on? There we go.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, we've had a bit of a crazy. We're both technophobes, so it was like two dumbos trying to set up a stream, and it's all going to appear. Everyone should be congratulating us that we've actually got on. It's only like, what, 10, 15 minutes late. So, yeah, everyone give us a round of applause, I think.
Yeah, there's people that I work with that will be just scratching their hair out watching me.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as you said you was alone, I was like, oh, this is going to go pear-shaped.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I was like, all right. I didn't want to disrespect you, but I was like, you don't seem like the most kind of IT kind of guy. No offense, man.
Yeah.
Oh, what it is? I've got a lot of guys coming from my end. There's going to be a lot of Muslims in there as well, my little Muslim brothers and sisters, and so there might be a lot of fighting in the comment sections. Try and be civil.
Yeah. Can I just say to my mods, please don't
Yeah.
limit them too much. Only limit people that speak of violence or things. If the people are being lippy to each other, so be it.
And if
But
they call me pigeon, yeah, because there's going to be a lot of pigeon jokes, because I'm known as a pigeon at Speaker's Corner, because I look like a pigeon, and obviously you're known as Porky Nose or something like that. I don't know. I didn't really see, but I just seen a lot of pig face jokes. So is that towards you?
Mate, there's endless jokes on me. Apparently, I'm an incel. The best one I ever saw was incel inside. But
Yeah.
I've honestly, mate, endless jokes, and every now and then, one out of 100 memes will make us laugh.
Yeah. I do like a good roast. I mean, there's there's a guy called Raspect. I call him Horsespect, and he put my head onto this kind of like troll doll. I thought it was very cute. I wanted to buy one. I was like, all right, let's start selling those bloody things.
You learn, don't you, that your skin is far thicker than you imagined when you start to do it. And like I said last night, if we took everything that would come our way seriously, we'd have hung ourselves years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I've become pretty desensitized. Unless you're going to talk about my mother, like Ralph did yesterday, he's been threatening my mother again today. There's very little that's going to kind of trigger me. So, I don't really get triggered that easily.
No, but the thing is, when you first started, I bet you were so cool and collected. And a mum joke, mum jokes. I grew up in a community where mum jokes were the norm. So obviously, I reckon you probably didn't. So that I
No.
can understand that being a trigger. But if I could somehow get it into your brain that when someone says a mum joke, it's just someone calling you a toss bag. It's not.
No, I mean, he's not. Can I say? Let me just clarify. If you think a mum joke, I'll piss me off. But when you're saying you're going to come to my house and see my mum, or I'm going to ruin your mum's mind, I'm going to get you through your mum, I'm going to have war on your mum, then yeah, I take that as a threat rather than a thingy. I mean, what's your kind of? Because I know you. To the Popo. I know the Popo are listening. Hiya, PC Barnes. All of you guys
Hello,
listening.
ladies and gents.
They always watch. I know. Do you know how I know they watch? A lot of these streams, because they say and let things slip that are on my stream. So I'm like, okay, how did you know that? Like, so I know they watch all this stuff because they want to kind of get intel on what's going on at Speaker's Corner and stuff. And obviously, you're like their favorite person.
And you know what? It's been so easy to become in their good books, as it were.
Yeah.
When I say good books, I mean the books that no one wants to find themselves in. And ladies and gents of the constabulary, you'll be very disappointed tonight because I've got nothing but positive things to say.
Yeah. We're doing like a kind of like a like if I say something, you need to tell me, Raj, I don't want to get involved in that because I know you've got a few.
Yeah.
You don't want to kind of go down a few routes.
No.
And for me, I don't want to kind of like you've got enough trouble as it is. So
Because
and I've also
Go on, sorry, Raj. Go on. I was
just going to say, you know me, I've got a very dark sense of humor, and so if anyone's not heard me before, they might not get it. I am joking a lot of times, so.
Yeah, I mean, an interesting comment just popped up there. I'm going to ignore most of them, but every now and then I'll pop down and have a look. I always assumed you was right wing. I've been told you're not, though. I think we'll get into that later, but you'll be surprised how liberal I actually am. You would be surprised. But that's another subject for later down. Yeah.
No, I think he's referring to. I'm going to call him the Big Ed BFG. I know you don't like insults, but I don't care because he's insulting me. But I call him Big Ed BFG. I don't want to say his name, Ralpesh. He's been saying that all of you guys, all the people that I know. I don't want to name names, but there's some great guys that I know on a personal level, and I don't classify them to be racist or anything apart from patriots who want the best for their country, and that doesn't make you racist. But so by Big Ed BFG's logic, that means you're not a true patriot and you're not really on the right. You're kind of a lefty. It doesn't really make sense, but that's his logic. Hello, you there? Is he freaking? Is he? Are we still? Can you still hear us? I don't know what's happened to him. Oh, he's left. I don't know where he's gone. Oh, he's back. Oh my god, man. I was like, oh my god.
I just
Yeah, they're
boomed
trying to
out
hack us.
of my own
They're trying
channel.
to hack us, man.
I
I know.
I
You
managed to
see?
boom out of my own channel when you was left here on my channel,
Yeah, I was
just
about,
running
I
my
was about
shit.
to take. I was about to take over, man. I've done like 6-7 hour live streams by myself, so it's not an
Oh,
issue, man.
imagine I couldn't get back in. Imagine that. I'm just
Yeah.
watching
I'll
Raj.
be like,
Like,
yeah, I'll be like, the Indians have taken over. We're taking over. No. Are we
completely
gonna talk about?
destroying me.
Yeah. So what's your kind of outline? Because it's your show. Like, what do you want to talk about? Because I don't know. People always say I take over the conversations and
No,
dominate conversations. So
because I think there will also be people on my side that will be interested in you as well.
Mm.
And what's going on with you, because it's
Yeah.
certainly getting very interesting at the park at the minute.
Mm.
And I take it you was present for most of my chat last night.
Yeah, so can I just say big up to yourself? One thing that people don't realize is that the people that you deem to be racist, thugs, nasty individuals like Vinny and them lot, like they're actually, and I don't want to ruin your reputation, but they're actually kind of soft-hearted people behind that hard exterior. And the people that have supported me are people that you might think are like nasty people, but to me, they, I don't want to say their names, but you know who I'm talking about. These guys are good people, man. Like, they've given me a lot of support and encouragement and stuff. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, Raj, you're getting played by them. You're their little freaking
Yeah.
coon." Blah, blah, blah. Shut your mouth. No one can tell me what to do or manipulate you apart from my
I
mother.
can't
That's
afford to
it.
pay myself, mate. I can't afford to do a lot. So the day I can afford to give you a few pound notes, I'll slip it to you. And the white man, you'll be working for the white man
Yeah,
officially, Raj.
it's an in joke, but JK, I'm getting another £2. I'll make it last for 6 months. Don't worry, you'll understand.
And thank you
The
so
joke
much.
is that there's a Muslim here that I get along with called JK. He's a really good guy. And he donated me £2 once, and he's never lived it down from his Muslim brothers. They always bring it up every time. You've been supporting the Islamophobe Raj. I made it last though. I've still got 7p left. I might buy a nice
700 pennies have gone
Do you
your
think
way.
can we get a nice lolly for 7p? I'll have to check. I don't know. I've made it last for like 6 months. I'm very stingy
Well, look,
like that.
we blame immigration for the fact that we can't get penny sweets anymore, because that could have gone a very long way.
Oh no! Yeah, I remember when I was young. I used to have to make like freaking 10p last for like freaking hours. So things have changed. Are you going to be getting Braden on? Because Braden is kind of. I mean, I don't want to use him as the kind of like poster boy for when radicalism goes wrong. But he is a poster boy for it. Like, because I don't want to talk too much about him specifically, but I think it'd be good to go into how some people are going to extremes because of not being able to talk or feeling like they're being alienated.
Sorry, I'm just writing to my mods. Moderators, please, can you not limit people too much in the chat? As long as they're not being threatening or, releasing personal information on other people in the chat, then let them sort of tear each other apart, as it were.
Yeah, listen. We're like the kind of like gods looking down on the peasants and just watching them like shit. I always do that. When I'm on my little thing, I feel like I'm some kind of megalomaniac and I'm just watching the little.
Like you're the guy in the Truman Show.
Yeah, like the little peasants are fighting between themselves over me. So I will say one thing. I'm going to say something. There's certain phobias that are not real. Yeah, because they're a phobia. They're kind of like they're not all phobias, but there is one phobia that is real and has united all the humanity, all the bad humanity against me, and that's Rajaphobia. Rajaphobia is real. Like
I was very jealous of you when I heard that term. When I heard you said Rajaphobia, I thought, oh, I can't believe you got there before me.
You can get Vinnie phobia, but Rajaphobia is real. I've managed to like unite the far right Nazis, the Muslims and the black supremacists against me. Like it's like I've only been back at Speaker's Corner for a week because I had a 3-week kind of break, 3 month break from Speaker's Corner. I don't know if you know that.
I think that would have been good for you, mate, considering how stressful it can be there. But I have to cover this far right stuff.
Yeah, we
Um,
need to go into it because this is
mm.
causing a lot of misinformation, and I think it's actually quite. I don't want to say the word. If I say the word dangerous, I don't mean physically. I
It's
think
incredibly
dangerous.
dangerous. It's all out. It's all out dangerous. It's not just dangerous for people that feel isolated from ethnic communities.
Ah,
It's not dangerous for them in the slightest because it's fabrication. It's dangerous for the people that will fall for it on the right, mainly.
mm, mm,
And what it will do is it fabricates a story that isn't there. So, for instance, Speaker's Corner is usually a place where, whether it's done right or wrong, people are throwing about religious and philosophical debate. They really want to keep injecting these race issues in because it's not, it rose and then it dropped. It rose and then it dropped. And there's always this
mm,
attempt to inject the race issue back in. And the far right, now, you know, I mean, I will give them the chance to rebuttal some of what I'm suggesting
mm,
now because I'm not going to be too harsh on them. But the fact
mm,
of the reality is the far right are basically non-existent and really exaggerated. These
mm,
people, and if you are in a far right group, you don't really know anyone and you're very,
mm,
very hidden. So they won't be
mm,
coming out to Speaker's Corner saying all this stuff. It's just not in their interest. They'll be shut down, arrested, tipped off. It's just not realistic. And as I said last night, I have been followed by meat wagons full of
mm,
police. I've only been there about 6 times. They've
mm.
turned up at people's houses, asking about me and stuff for no reason. And I have never said these things. So for me, it's unrealistic. It's not the far right. It's the fact that there's not enough far right, so they have to make it up. So I'm
I
very
mean, you
suspicious
remember
of the
what?
whole affair.
Yeah, yeah. You remember when I needed support after I was kind of escorted out the park? And yes, I was
Hmm.
escorted out the park. I didn't leave the park. The police advised, like, told me to leave the park because things were getting very heated and they couldn't protect me. So when I went to the
Hmm.
thingy, and then I don't want to. Oh, I'll just say RI. You know who I'm talking about, RI.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to
So
say
hang
the
on, I've
name.
just got to make an example for my mod. So like this guy
Yeah.
here, he's just left a comment. Mods, this
Mm.
is fine. He has said, Raj, this Vinny guy is full of shit when he says the far right doesn't exist. Right? So mods, he can say that. That's fine. That sort of stuff's fine. So you just understand
Yeah, but
the.
you didn't say that. You just said they're on the fringes and they're not as powerful as people
Yeah, no,
think they are.
I think
That's
he's
the
wrong,
difference.
but I'm just making sure that the mods have allocated don't limit people too much because they're going to want to. They're not going to want to disappoint or
Mm,
get blamed later. So they're just doing their part, but at the same
mm.
time, let's let people have their say.
They're saying you're cucking for me. Oh my god,
Yeah,
you become a cuck now. Oh
we
no.
need a woman for that, don't we?
Oh no, I know. Get the women in there. I've been saying something. Do you know
Yeah.
what? Yeah, the last 2 days, like I had to go on some live streams to kind of like, there's been some serious allegations made towards me, and I think tarnishing like Tommy Robinson and people of his side as with people that are real racist calling. I mean, you heard last night. I don't want to say. I called him Raupesh, the brown Indian Nazi, who was calling a black guy Jungle Bunny. You heard it. He was calling the N word, Wakanda this and all that. And he does that all the time with all different races. And so we can't be tarnished with this brush on this side. Now, obviously, me and you are not like. Let me just clarify something, Vinny. Um, I'm an individual, yeah, and a free thinker. I don't go with any group, but I align with people who have similar thoughts to me or ideology. Doesn't mean I'm part of that group. So as of today, I'm aligned with who and on that side, but it doesn't mean I 100% agree with him. Are you similar to that?
I find myself becoming more and more, I go through stages because sometimes you'll get so much aggression over the course of a few months that you become quite combative to everyone. And other times
Yeah,
you stop, when you come away from that, you have time to reflect everything you've learned and you become more liberal to everyone.
mm. Yeah. I mean, this is
So
the
it's a
problem when
continuous up and down. It's difficult.
yeah, I'm in a similar
Go on.
position because sometimes I go into speak like tomorrow. I'm warning people when I go speakers corner tomorrow because there's going to be a lot of hostility. If you come in my direction and you try and heckle me, I'm probably going to go. I'm not going to go crazy, but I'm going to be very not like no bullshit. Sometimes I entertain these people, have a bit of fun, and just troll them. But tomorrow, because there's some very serious topics going on tomorrow, I want to dispel the myth that these lunatics that have suddenly popped up in the park, like Raupesh, do not represent what I represent, because they're lumping me together with him, and I do not agree with his ideology of deporting and killing people of different races. Yeah, this is insane, and
Well,
he's lumping. Before yesterday, until you came onto the show, and I found out about him through contacts, he was claiming that he was part of this group, yeah, saying this nonsense, and now he's distancing himself and saying,
please
"No, I'm
don't
not
name the
part."
please don't name the group on this channel.
No, not the group. I'm not talking about group as in
Yeah.
terms of a literal group, but I'm talking about he was trying to say that he was part of this movement, and that he represented the true patriots in a real movement. And until you came onto the show yesterday, he's now. So thank you. So big up to yourself for doing that for me, mate, or doing that for everybody. I really appreciate it. He's now saying he's not part of that group, but he's a Christian far right movement now, a total separate movement, which is good, because I want to distance himself from that, because he's tarnishing it pretty badly at the top.
What I'm going to say is, because there's no easy way out of this, right? To those that are listening that may have organised whatever's gone on, it's not too late to just walk away. You've been sus. Just leave it. No one's going to hate you. You had a good run, but people are too intelligent now to fall for these tricks. And there are always people out there that go through hard times in their life. I've got friends that are highly intelligent. Something really bad can happen, and all of a sudden they can be manipulated in a situation where they otherwise wouldn't have been. And it's people like him, because he's so highly intelligent. And
you're keeping cutting out, Vinny. The hackers are trying to get you.
Ralph, if you're listening, we are going to have a discussion. Don't worry, I'm not sitting here slating you. But what I would do. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I don't know if you're getting hacked by the feds. Hope. Yeah, I can hear you, man. I can hear you. It's cutting out a little bit, though, but it's
Right.
cool.
Okay. Well, they'll be a bit bored by this computer, to be honest.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right. Brilliant. I can't remember where we was.
Yeah. So if you're just saying you're going to be fair and you're going to have a word, which I think is a good tactic. We don't want to have this, because to be honest with you, I was okay with Ralph, or that I was just civil with him. I wanted to hear what his views were. I always said that I find him to be the problem, and if I ever come into power, I'd deport him with the jihadis. Yeah, to me, they're the opposite side of the same coin. And so I spoke to him,
You're
but
giving him too much credit. That's the problem. What you're falling victim of is actually falling victim to the belief that he's far right. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, now I don't, because I obviously I found out, and I spoke to even the police and stuff, and I know, big up to the popos. I know I was saying to that, but I do think that the police are trying their best. Obviously, they go a bit mad sometimes and start attacking the wrong side and stuff. Well, what can you say? Remember, they're trying to be PC and all that. But when it comes to him, now I don't take him seriously, because I know enough about him. That's why I call him BFG. His name's Ralpesh now instead of Ralph. And I'm just going to mock him rather than take him seriously, because he's a joke. People like him is a joke. I mean, he's a brown Indian man, half Tamil. He's darker than me, who wants to deport all non-white people. It doesn't make sense.
So if I was going to employ someone from MI5 to do this, I couldn't employ a white person to do it, because they wouldn't get away with it for long. And that's my standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I'm going to speak to the police tomorrow. I want to understand how an individual, because if you went into Speaker's Corner and even as a joke was pretending to shoot a vulnerable Muslim woman by saying, I'm going to shoot you in the head and use you as target practice, I'm pretty sure that most people would get arrested.
Yeah, I do. I'd probably get remanded, mate, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and this guy has managed to not only get away with it, he's saying he's coming back tomorrow and he's going to do more. So I'm highly suspicious in terms of how somebody can get away with this. Like, either he's got high contacts in places, or I don't want to say what I think, but he's let's just say he's not being 100%.
What I didn't like yesterday was there was times when he kept saying, "See, how do you define on the far, or how we on the far right?" And he was hoping that I wouldn't pick up on that, as if I would slip into somehow acknowledging that's a label that I can script to. And I did find that there was a lot of very clever defense mechanisms, and I found him more intelligent than your average speaker's corner broadcaster. Not because of his content, but because of what the content was hiding, because of what it implies and the scheme. Because we tend to look at the safety of people on the right or centre or whoever that are falling victim to traps that are set by certain organisations that would like to push a narrative that doesn't exist to help ruin British culture and society and what have you. And it would certainly seem that the best way to do it is to turn entire communities on the native population as quickly as possible. And Speaker's Corner is a brilliant place to start, especially if it looks like it's dying down and everyone's getting on again. You can't be having that now, can you? If you're looking to start unnecessary trouble. So, personally, I was, I tried. I don't think I was too out of turn yesterday. As a couple of times, I had to just make it clear that violence. You might think you're clever talking about it, but I know so many people that are so good at it that if you talk about it, there's always going to be someone out there who's better and bigger than you, and it's a never-ending rat race. And if you know that, if you've actually been involved in it, you just don't talk rubbish, and you don't give people evidence ahead of time, because when you go to court, oh look, it's all on a live feed. Here's what he said he was going to do, and there it is. So unless you have some sort of safeguard, you wouldn't do that. So as soon as I looked at the situation, I just threw it out the window as, right, this is all rubbish. And I looked at how
I see it as now.
Yeah,
I see that now, because earlier today, you said my 4chan boys are going to get you, and I was like, all right, cool, all right, you're a loser, man.
What killer's coming in saying, what the fuck is Vinnie on about? I want to see him debate this Indian far right lad. I think he's saying I'm selling people out. He must be, that could be a lefty pretending to be a righty, and this is a problem we often face, especially in Telegram.
This is the problem. It's like a honey.
But I spoke to him yesterday, and that conversation's available, and you're free to go and listen to it. It's the 7th hour of the chat. I was perfectly respectable. I don't want to offend or belittle anyone, but even if I'm wrong about you, Ralph, it still stands that the damage that you will do to the conservative side of politics will be unforgivable. And you think, I'm making too much fuss over one man. Violence has occurred twice, from what I've heard, right? And also, it takes one man to start a big message. One milkshake that hits American headlines. One comment about a shooter in America, and they're talking about it in bloody, South Africa and what have you. Probably not, because they've got bigger issues, but I'm sure you know what I'm saying. And all it takes is Ralph to do a few things at the park, and that's it. It's big news, national headline. We're off again.
All right. So there's a guy called Cuck Killer. Great name, you little prick. Sorry, I call him. I will be calling people pricks sometimes. I apologize. But he said this turban is not one of us.
Whoa, mate. You know what I mean?
Big up. This turban is not one of you. Yeah, cool. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about that. That's quite an interesting subject. Let's not far away. And he also said, all right, mate, where's the debate, mate? Yeah, let's go down to the pub, bro. So he's doing his old kind of like bullshit chat. He just wants to go. We're not debating. If you have any IQ, you degenerate, you would know we're having a conversation, not a debate. A debate means we're trying to win something over each other and trying to prove each other's point. We are having a discussion, you turd. Sorry if I'm going to be abusing some of your mods. It's just my.
Oh, don't worry. They'll take it on the chin. Don't worry.
They love it, man. They love it. Whenever I insult someone and say you gutter dwelling prick, they're like, "Oh my God, Raj, you insulted me. I've been blessed." They'll get.
The worst thing, Raj. The worst thing is when you make a comment and you see these sort of, because even the left side has it. And the right does it as well. So say someone messages Owen Jones and he blocks them. I got blocked by Owen Jones. You're better off just ignoring it, because now this guy has this false. I got blocked by Owen Jones 3 times. Yeah. And each time it's like, yes. But then if I do it because someone keeps spamming, Vinnie Sullivan blocked me. Look, I've got to screenshot it. You just can't win.
Yeah, I know. It happened to me yesterday. Like I was on a panel and we was talking to 2 ladies, and I don't want to say their name because they're absolute lunatics. They support the Raupish, the mad Indian Hitler, and so we were just talking. And Now, to be honest with you, when it comes to women online, if they start irritating because their voices can be very screeching online, I just get off the line, punch the wall, and get back on. So I don't want to shout at a woman. So I was just saying to them that I was trying to explain that their voices are so irritating, it makes me want to punch a baby in the face. Now, I don't literally want to punch a baby in the face. I do not condone any violence to babies, but I'm just trying to show you how irritating your voice is that it would reduce me to something like that. And so they've now gone into the streams today saying Raj wants to punch babies in the face. Raj wants to punch. So I don't, let me just say, Raj does not want to punch any babies in the face, but their voices are so annoying together. It could reduce me to that if they were in front of me and they kept on talking for like 3 hours. So you do get that.
A bloodthirsty rage of minor punching.
Yeah, I don't know. It's more of a bloody nose. No bruising. I'm gonna take it. No, let me just.
I mean, on a serious note, I would tell a Madeleine McCann joke, but my parents would kill me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is the thing. We've got to be careful, man, because people are going to clip this and go, Raj being caught as a baby puncher or something like that. And I'm in prison, being beaten up by the freaking 6'5" lunatic. And I don't know. So I have to be careful about all this kind of stuff. So this is the thing. I've got a very dark sense of humor. So a lot of people don't get it, because I always say to women, like, when they annoy me, I'll go in the kitchen and freaking start washing the dishes, you little woman. Because I don't want to swear at them.
Back under that sink. My admins. This is not.
Yes, the thing is,
back under that
the thing is, look here. I don't want to swear at them. I can't say you stupid gutter-dwelling prick, you turd, you degenerate, you retard, which I do with the men. So I have to just say, get back to the kitchen and freaking start washing the dishes, you little woman. But I know, but I don't mean that. Obviously, women are good at washing dishes, though, no doubt about it. Though it's just from experience, women are better at washing dishes, but. It's just like people
that's not
don't
true.
get.
You know what, Raj? No, I'm going to stop you there, mate. It's not true.
Yeah.
Right? When I was at home, or with my ex-bird, right, it's never clean, right? And I'd always get the dish out, and I'd redo it, and I'd say, "This is how you do it." And they'd say, "Well, you do it more often, then."
Yeah, but you're a cut.
You just apparently
you're
so.
Well, apparently, allegedly. So you're ruining your reputation. So.
Let's go. You're meant to be on top, aren't you, in these day and age? Seeing as I'm the white man.
We're right. Yeah. So do you want me to kind of go through, because a lot of people don't know who I am, and they probably don't want to know who I am after this. But do you want to kind of explain my kind of story of how I got met you and how?
Absolutely.
So basically,
Raj is basically a very provocative speaker that stands by himself at Speaker's Corner, not following the narrative of the day. So the content on your channels is so entertaining.
Listen to this comment, So this is a good description of me. This fat 45-year-old virgin only wears that turban to cover his receding hairline. Tell him I said that, Vinnie. Oh my God, this is the kind of gems that I have to read every day. I got channels dedicated to me, just like with my hairline. You know my hairline. Just Raj's hairline all over the place. So basically what happened was that, obviously I'm a Sikh. I know your white audience is like, oh, who are they? So if anyone knows, the Sikh people are from the Punjab, and we make up around 500,000 people of the UK. We spread around the world. We're the 5th largest religion in the world. We're not part of the Abrahamic faith, and we're not part of Islam or Hinduism. We have a very distinct religion. It's very progressive. It was actually does away with a lot of the backward nature of some of these Hindu and Islamic practices and stuff like that. So in the UK, the Sikh community, I think we're one of the most prosperous, the most educated. I'm not bigging ourselves up. It's just through statistics. One of the most prosperous, one of the most educated, the lowest crime rate, and just generally one of the most kind of integrated communities in the UK. Although we do keep our culture as well, but it doesn't impose on British culture, like, I don't want to say other cultures, but you know what I'm saying. And so as a Sikh growing up, I was from a predominantly Muslim area, I won't say where, and I didn't have no issues growing up for the first 18 years. Most of my mates were from Muslim background. They were mainly would practice their faith at home, and no issue. And then when I hit around 19 or 20, I went to a different area, and I bumped into Hizb ut-Tahrir. And Hizb ut-Tahrir is now, I think it's a banned organization now. And Majid Nawaz, you know Majid Nawaz?
Yes, I know
Yeah,
Majid.
he used to go to the same college and was part of that particular organization. And then I started getting attacked by the Hizb ut-Tahrir because we started up a Sikh society, and they didn't like the fact that in Sikh history we have a lot of persecution from the Islamic conquest. So a lot of our historical stories are about the persecution of Sikhs by Islamic conquest.
I see. So by proxy, it's not a case of you're starting an anti-group. You are, but by proxy, the stories involved will engulf Ra.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, so when you're reading the story, so if I say, okay, the ninth Guru was executed for not converting to Islam, that's a fact. Yeah, that was a fact. He didn't, they wanted him to convert, he refused, and they chopped his head off. If I say that two of the 10th Guru's 6-year-old and 9-year-old, 8-year-old son were bricked up alive for not converting to Islam, that's a fact. Well, I'm not making stories up. That's what happened. And this is only 400 years ago, so it's not that long. And so by proxy, when we're talking about this, it sounds like we're attacking Islam, but no, we're attacking the Islamic conquest. So when I say I ain't paying that bullshit jizya, you're mad. You know, that's one of my sayings that I shout, I ain't paying that bullshit jizya, you're mad. The Sikhs fought against the jizya and the Sharia, and that kind of like oppression within India. And so we pushed it back. And so over the time, so when we was telling the stories, they would come in and start disrupting. Then it turned to violence because we didn't stop. People got beaten up and death threats, and it resulted in a black guy, Christian guy, getting stabbed through the heart by this Somalian guy. And that's when it all kind of stopped, because then the guys got arrested and stuff like that. And Majid Nawaz talks about this in his talks. And so then I started realizing there was an issue with extremism, because I'd not seen it before from the Islamic community. And this was 1992. Prior to that, I'd never seen anything. Slowly, I started to see that the Sikh community and the Hindu community were kind of diverging from the Muslim community in terms of their kind of what they wanted for themselves within the UK. We want to live here. We want the best for the UK, most of us, and we want to just, prosper. And if that means leaving the EU, I'll vote with Brexit. I want to leave the EU. If it means reducing immigration.
Well, can I ask?
Yeah.
Among different communities, is leaving the EU seen as racist?
No,
without people understanding how the EU works or anything like that, do they just, whether they understand it or not, just assume that if someone wants Brexit, that they must be a hateful wronger? Is that
not in the Sikh community? I mean, I know loads of Sikhs and Hindus that vote Brexit. It's very much
across the board of of immigrant communities. I mean, how do they treat you? How do they treat you for respect?
I can say within the Sikh community, I've never had no negative. I know lots of people that voted Brexit. I think we see it as a more common sense kind of way forward, because I didn't vote for Brexit because of immigration. I voted it because of sovereignty. I didn't want Europe to be controlling UK laws. I don't want another body controlling what laws are passed through the UK and what you can and what you can't do. Immigration was like
what you can pay.
Yeah, so second or third on that, and I was worried about freedom of speech and stuff. And so I'll go back to the story because it's going to go to why I went to Speaker's Corner. And so basically, can I just say something before I go on? I do not represent the Sikh community. I do not speak for the Sikh community. I speak for myself. I have always said that I'm an outsider and a lone wolf. That doesn't mean Sikhs don't agree with me, because when I go out, a lot of people say we agree with you. We don't always like your style, and we may not like you, but I agree with what you're saying. You need to kind of tone down your kind of like a controversial nature. So I'm going to stay there, because a lot of Sikhs are going, Raj, you don't represent the Sikh community. I've never said I have. So basically what happened was that all of this stuff happened. I started having problems. A lot of people say, oh, white people are racist and, they beat people up. Maybe, but I've never been beaten up by a white or attacked by a white person. But I have by Pakistanis who knocked my turban off. I have had issues with Pakistanis or Bengalis kind of attacking me because I'm Sikh. So the Sikh community has had issues with, let's say, the Asian Muslim community for a while. And over a period of time, the grooming epidemic was still going on. So what people need to understand, from the 80s, the Sikh people have been complaining about grooming. If you look at a documentary from 1987 on BBC, there's a documentary about Sikh and Muslim gangs fighting each other, and the Sikh men were saying we're fighting them because they're grooming our girls. Yeah, and we now know that there's been a grooming epidemic. You know that now, don't you? I don't know if Vinny's still there. You do know that, yeah, Vinny.
I am.
Yeah. So basically, we now know, but at the time, they were denying it and saying, "No, the Sikhs are overreacting. It's nothing going on." So there was a lot of what we call kind of like warfare about that. And it started with the women. Obviously, it kind of degenerated into other stuff as well. And a group called Share Punjab was set up to protect Sikh girls, and it kind of resulted in a situation that, you know, a lot of people go in prison and stuff like that. And so that kind of disbanded because, you know, you can't defeat these guys that are grooming. What happens when you try and save one of your girls? You have to do something to the other side, and you go prison, and then the groomer just roams the street and does the same thing again. So we realized it was counterproductive. What happened over the years after that is, like, you know, just going on. Then one of my relatives, I think it was around 15, I can't remember the exact time, but was groomed by a Pakistani Muslim gang. And I think that was in 2005 or something. I can't remember the exact time, and so it hit my doorstep. And I started to see through that experience that this problem is very big. And the difference between the white community and, say, the Sikh community is that, or the Asian community, is that Asians don't report this stuff as crimes. So because of the honor culture, so they would rather send their daughter to, say, a different part of the UK or abroad, or just keep it shut because they don't want to embarrass the family. So there's no real statistics on how many girls have been groomed, and Hindu girls have been groomed within the UK by these kind of Asian Muslim grooming gangs. And so when that happened, I have to admit, after that happened, my view started to harden. Obviously, they're going to harden. Like if the perpetrators of one of your relatives, and all of them are from a particular group, and then you find out, you know, this has been happening to all these other girls, and it's from the same group of people, it's going to piss you off. Yeah. And so that happened, and then over the years, things just went along. I had my own issues with certain
people. Do people ever call to you about the fact that you have your own story to tell on the subject? Do people ever pick?
Yeah, I mean, they always say that I'm lying, but the thing is, I will say this: the Sikh Awareness Society. I don't know if you know more than Sikh Awareness Society. SAS, and the Sikh Youth UK both know my story, and I told them because a lot of people say I was lying, and I said, all right, guys, check this story out, verify it's true, and they did. So that's why they don't ever hassle me. They don't come down to the park and tell me, Raj, you're lying, because they know it's true, and they looked into it. And so, yeah, I have a lot of ridicule. People saying, "Oh, I mean, just the other day, a guy on a panel called, I call him Fat Roly-Poly Pubeless Prick. His name is Mr. Amaraz. He goes, the reason your girls get, basically, all your men are drunk. That's why your girls get effed by Pakistani men." Yeah. So I said, okay, for argument's sake, if our girls are drunk, does it mean that you can start abusing and raping our women? Yeah, and this is the logic I've seen from a lot of Asian Pakistani guys, that because they think because the Sikhs have a problem with alcohol. Like, one thing is, yeah, Sikhs are not supposed to drink in terms of religiously. It's against our religion, but we have a massive alcohol problem. And I had an alcohol problem until 6 years ago, and I stopped drinking 6 years ago. And so they use the same thing with white people when they say, "Oh, your men are weak because they're always drunk and they're out and stuff. They're not looking after their women," blaming the men. And that's what was just said to me the other time. And a lot of guys say that, "Oh, your men are not looking after your women, so we can do with them what you want." Yeah, I don't know if you've heard that before from to you or anybody on your side.
The problem is, obviously, there's a lot that I could say. There's a lot I know, and I hear an awful lot. But as you know, as a straight white man, I am virtually useless in this battle. Useless unless I combat the people that allow it to happen. So there's a lot I'd love to be able to talk about, but as you know,
don't talk about it.
it's just not in your interest.
But the thing is, I can do it through because what's happening to the Sikh community has happened to the white community, because they use the same excuse: your men are drunk, so you're not looking after them, so you're fair game. Your women are fair game. I'm not saying all Muslims, obviously, it's a small percentage, but it's still a large disproportionate percentage. So so basically all of that was going on, and then in 2017 we had the London terror attacks, we had the Manchester bombings, we had the all these terrorists, and then all the grooming epidemic stories started coming out. And I'm not gonna lie, all of that kind of stuff just bring back memories of my family situation or my relatives. I was just pissed off. I was like, and obviously I'd been following Tommy Robinson since he left the EDL, because I didn't really agree with the EDL, but I did like Tommy Robinson. I
Well,
think
it
the
seemed very
EDL,
standoffish, didn't it? You know, as anyone who, it'd be very, because it was so new and unfamiliar, it would be very standoffish for most people. That, you know, what
yeah,
is this group?
I mean, for the last 2 years, I've been getting attacked for supporting Tommy Robinson, because I do say big up Tommy Robinson. I've met him. I think he's a good guy. He's not, now, before everyone goes on, I don't believe anyone's beyond criticism. And I criticized him a couple of weeks ago, and some of Tommy Robinson's fans went freaking apeshit. And I can't stand shit.
Oh, right.
No one's beyond criticism. Nobody.
Yeah.
Do I support him? Yes. But does it mean that he does some wrong sometimes? Yes, he does. And you must call people out. Otherwise, they'll never grow as a person.
Because I can comment on this. What annoys me is what you get is you get this sort of, we have to produce a democracy, and we need many different factions of people trying many different things, and it does develop a cult mentality. So for instance, if I was almighty and I made mistakes now and then, and it was impossible to say so, then it would be counterproductive to society, because if everyone turned on people that might be correcting me, then forever you're relying on me to get everything right. That's no different than Hitlerism. So there is a problem in the right, because we all are supportive of people, but there is a cult mentality that I mean, Nigel Farage, for instance, he's entitled to his opinion, and he come out and said that he's not a fan of Tommy, and he didn't like the way things were going, and he left UKIP. Now, so what? And then you've got thousands and thousands of people. All of a sudden, they've forgotten everything that Farage has done, because he's got all the people in the world that are allowed their opinion. Nigel Farage isn't.
Yeah. Can I just say that, you know, when I was talking about two women whose voices grated me, one of them is in the thingy. I have to name her because she's slandering me. Jupiter. Sorry, your voice is very annoying. I don't have a problem with you as an individual, but you got a voice that makes me want to kick old people over, which I wouldn't do. She's got an annoying voice. So she's in there slandering me.
People are slating Farage, and people are all saying that Farage, oh, what a nice thing to do. Thank you so much, David.
Yeah, big up David Power.
I didn't deserve that.
Yeah, you did, man. You did. You're doing good.
The other night, I went to a conference, and Farage was speaking at this conference, and as usual, he blew the place away with just his brilliant. And he said at the end something that he never says publicly, and he says that it would be nice if we lived in a society where no one particular belief system dictated language. Now, that speaks volumes from Nigel, because a lot of people think that he's forgotten that there's problems with language and you know, immigration and issues and sovereignty. But the speech I heard that night was very much covers all of the things that they're worried that he's not covering. So what they have to understand is Nigel plays an intake. For instance, he looked at me. I had an argument with Owen Jones outside one of his events recently, and I was hoping to meet him. But he looked at me, and I felt by the way he looked at me that he recognised it from the video, and as a result, didn't give me the chance to speak to him. Now, maybe I was snubbed, maybe I wasn't. Who knows? But at the same time, he's still my hero. I'm not going to look down on him because he says a comment about someone. Everyone goes mental. It doesn't make either of them less effective.
Yeah, I think being somebody that kind of like puts someone in the kind of like an infallible position, I can't stand that. Everybody should be criticized. In fact, I think criticizing people make less mistakes and grow. So if you allow somebody to keep on going around and you tell them they've done nothing wrong and they're making mistakes, at some point they will think that they are perfect. They will make the biggest mistake that would destroy themselves in the future. So you must criticize people and say, look, all right, this thing probably didn't sound too good. Doesn't mean you don't support that person. And so I said, I did openly say I didn't like what I won't go into because they're going to go mad in the comments. But I'm somebody that has been at Speaker's Corner for 2 years, who has been literally hounded about supporting Tommy Robinson. And I've never, ever.
Yeah, if anyone has a go at Raj about his opinion in here, I mean, honestly, he has. Just watch his videos and see what he gets. So he's entitled to say what he likes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people say, you've got to denounce Tommy Robinson. You must separate. I said, listen, you can't tell me what to do. I'll support whoever I want, and I'll chat to everyone. And that's always the case. I will say to Cuck Killer, he said, I don't trust this Indian. Oh, my God.
I bet he does at the weekend when he goes down to one of your cousins and buys a takeaway.
What about when they're cooking your meal, you little prick? I hope they put some chilies in there and you got freaking diarrhea for like a month, you little turd. Yeah, he don't trust them, but he eats their food. Yeah, right. Yeah, let's put some more chili powder in there. Yeah, I'm gonna have a bit of Delhi belly for a month. Yeah. Anyone that knows this guy, yeah, make sure you start chucking in those freaking chilies so he freaking starts bleeding from his anus, the little prick. Sorry.
I never used to eat Indian, but it was my ex-bird a couple of years ago. She sort of forced me into it, and I loved it. But I haven't had one in ages. But is it the real one? I mean, is it what you would eat? I mean, is it traditional? Because I know with Chinese, it's nothing like it. I mean, the Chinese wouldn't eat that stuff if their life depended on it.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixture. So it's not different enough that you would notice from your English palate. You know, you are English palate. But to me, I can tell the difference. I don't think you would be able to tell the difference.
I can't eat spicy food, mate. I'm a right wimp.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting about the. Oh, let me just finish the story first before we go on. So basically, in 2017, all of this stuff started happening about all this, and I still remember Tommy Robinson from the days because Tommy Robinson has supported it. Because a lot of people say to me, "Why do you support Tommy Robinson? Like, what has he done for you?" And I try and explain that in the time that after my relative's grooming case, there was very few people from the, let's say, the wider indigenous population saying that it's true, except for people like Tommy Robinson. So when I saw him, like, going to a Sikh temple or saying, oh, the Sikhs are being persecuted with this, I was like, dude, who is this guy? And I remember looking, and at that time, I think he was still maybe part of EDR. So I was a little bit funny about him. I was like, oh, I don't really like EDR. And then slowly, when he left, I was like, okay. Then I started looking into it. I was like, all right, he's been doing this for quite a long time, like trying to support the Sikh community. Now, people would say he's using the Sikh community. Now, let me say something. I don't give a shit. He's still highlighting a problem to a wider base. And sometimes I need it. Sometimes I might use you, Vinnie, and you might use me. It's not that we're using each other in a kind of nefarious way. It's just sometimes we want to get to a new audience to propagate a message. So when I went Speaker's Corner, I have to admit, when I first went Speaker's Corner, I was pretty hardcore. In the sense that my mind, because I had been left my job, or I got let's just say I had a redundancy, and I become a self-employed artist. So I wasn't spending time with people. I stopped drinking, and I was listening to a lot of kind of one-sided events of what's going on in the UK. So when I went in, I went guns blazing, like I was literally ripping people apart. And I remember from the first day I walked in I think it was September 2017. I was only planning on going in for one day because there was some death threats to a black gentleman who was kind of having discussions with the Muslims there. And at the time, Speaker's Corner looked like an open-air mosque. I'm not going to lie. No, I apologize to my Muslim brothers and sisters, but that's what it looked like from the camera. Like, I was like, all right, this is So for anyone that doesn't know what Speaker's Corner is a little spot in Hyde Park, which has been there for 150 years and has been a place where people can speak freely up to a point without repercussions. And so you've had George Orwell, you've had Lenin, you've had Karl Marx, you've had all of these kind of great people. And obviously now you've got Raj there as well. So I'll be down on the list, hopefully. And basically what happened was, so I started watching the video. All right, there's a problem at this place.
You do realise that Karl Marx isn't anything to align your name next to for us to take pride in.
Yeah, it's not about pride. I'm just trying to say that I
I know.
I don't agree with Lenin.
know.
Obviously, I think Lenin's a lunatic. But in terms of these people going down there who have made world-changing, whether good or bad. So basically, obviously, I had the terrorist attacks. I had the grooming epidemic thing going on. And I originally was going into London before Speaker's Corner, and I bumped into a guy called Peter Sweden. You know who Peter Sweden is?
She rings a bell.
You know
I'm
who
not sure
Peter?
why.
Yeah, there's a guy called Peter Sweden. I think he's quite a far-right guy now, but I didn't know at the time. So I was walking through. I'd seen him once on YouTube. I didn't know
Did
who
he
he
always
was.
have glasses on?
No, I don't think he had glasses on. But I was in the city, and there was this march, and I saw all these lefty lunatics all over the place. And I was like, "What's going on in Trafalgar Square?" And so I started speaking to them. I was like, "Okay, you know," they were saying there's all racist over there, they're Nazis and all that kind of stuff. So I was just interested in what was going on. And then as I was walking about, I then bumped into this guy called Peter Sweden, and he was talking to him, and I just spoke to him. I said, "Yeah, what's happening?" And then we had a good conversation, and then he put a video up, and it's called "I Moved to the UK, Not Afghanistan." And I was speaking my views. This was like 2.5 years ago, and it got like 300,000 hits, or it could be even 500,000. I don't know. And so I just said my kind of like a 10-minute description of what I think the problem with the UK is, and a lot of people agreed, and some people didn't. That gave me the kind of courage to sort of go to Speaker's Corner then, because I thought, all right, I can articulate myself enough to go, even though I'm not that smart, but yeah, I'm smart enough to go in there. And so when I went there, I just went there with the intention of seeing whether free speech, because I think free speech is paramount to the UK and the West.
What's your opinion on an amendment? Are you familiar with the benefits of the amendment?
What's the amendment?
Well, the idea of a legal obligation to defend freedom of speech and the civilians to be able to defend themselves.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I want kind of like an American style kind of amendment where you have the free speech is protected from any kind of interference, because it is a problem. I think if you're looking at the number, for me, the reason I go Free Speaker's Corner, obviously I like a bit of aggro. I'm not going to lie, I kind of thrive on that shit. But one of the things is I think people need to push the free speech.
Oh, you're brilliant, honestly. Anyone out there on my channel who likes, and Raj has his ups and downs, right? So sometimes he'll be a bit more calm, other times he's stressed, other times he's super confident. Go back months, and sod Netflix. People like Raj, there's so many channels out there that are so interesting, and they've not got long. The only reason Raj is up with the things he says is because of the pigmentation of his skin.
Yeah.
You know, there's no. Go and check out. I'm gonna push it. I remember I was making a video. What was it, about 8 months ago, saying you've got to go watch Raj. It's all kicking off.
And that was before I got escorted at the park by 100 Muslim guys saying, "We hate Raj. We hate Raj." I love that shit, man. That is like the best day of my life.
Do you keep an archive? I have a massive archive of all the hatred, of stickers made of me, memes, people sent to try and do this, that, and the other. You know, I've got a big archive. I'm going to put them all in a big book, scrapbook, so I can flip.
I've got like the greatest hits and of my kind of most kind of like
videos of you, take screenshots.
It's kind of like, so the thing is, when I go Speaker's Corner, I mean, it's a very hot, and I'm going to be talking about this tomorrow at the park, because the park is not safe for vulnerable people or even women, I don't think, because of how slanderous it gets outside the park, because there's an online kind of element to it that you can't get away.
It never stays there. I didn't realise that. See, when I went down there last, I didn't realise, really, doesn't. I mean, and everyone expected me to care. I left, and there was all these podcasts and people telling me about them. I didn't give a toss. I deal with Westminster. You know, we deal with Antifa on a global scale, and I found that the park, they sit in a very small world. And
I mean, it's a very kind of, it's like a microcosm of man. We call it speakenders, because it's like I've got my ongoing storyline. Like, it's a storyline that I need to fulfill tomorrow, because all week we're on these live streams moaning. Can I just say something to Ulrich Hunt? Yeah, the person, that could be a man or a woman, or we have to be PC. It could be anything. Is there an agenda? I don't know.
Assume
So basically, you're
man or woman, lizard, alien.
don't say gender. They're gonna get triggered. Don't call it a woman or a man. They'll say we're sexist or misogynistic. I don't know what. So basically, they said Uruk Hunt said Raj is converted to Muslim. Beware him. Now let me say something to you. I will never lose my foreskin. Yeah, that's it. So you need to shut your mouth, you little prick. So sorry. Yeah. So basically, yeah. The story was like, so I went to the park. The first thing that happened was I was trying to be incognito, so I didn't wear my turban that day, because obviously I'm a Sikh and I wear a turban. Don't get triggered, people. Don't get triggered. I do wear a turban. Don't get scared when you see me on the thingy. Who's this freaking turban-headed lunatic? I know you're going to get a little bit triggered by looking at me, but I do wear a turban. And so I went there without it because I didn't want people to see me as a Sikh, because there's no Sikhs there, and start picking on me and going, what do you think about Sikhism? Because I don't like talking about religion. And the first thing that happened was there was a Christian guy there, and I was talking to him, and then a whole group of like Dawa, we call Dawa teams, which is like these teams trying to convert people, that came with cameras and stuff and started saying he's a hate preacher, he's this and he's that. And so I just stood up and I said, okay, why is he a hate preacher? What has he done? And then from then onwards, I think that, have you ever had a time when you've said something and it's like the time that your life changed? Have you ever had one of those points, Vinnie Sullivan?
In the last 2 years of my life, it's been a continuous, from month to month.
Yeah.
Every couple of months that will happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've had one time where I know my life changed, and it was when I was talking. I said this. I said I'd rather live in a Christian country than a Muslim country. Yeah. And once I said that, that was it. I was a Nazi. Next thing you know, I was like a brown Hitler. And everywhere I went, I've even got like photoshops of me, like with swastikas on me and stuff like that. Yeah. So, and I would repeat that. I would rather live in a Christian country than an Islamic.
Do you feel, Raj, that people are emboldened to be able to hate you, that because you say something like that, they feel entitled to, in this country, that this country gives people the right to hate you for that opinion? So if you say, for instance, I would prefer this country to be majority British or Anglo, because that's what Wales and Britain and Scotland are made up of. Do you feel that people are given the right in today's politics to hate you for that and call you racist? Do you think they're promoted? Because I certainly do. I can get thousands.
When I argue this case, I try and be empathetic of how I would feel. So I've always said I'm a British Punjabi Sikh. I'm not English. And when people say I'm English, I say no. Some lefties have said that to me. Oh, Raj, you can be. I'm not. To me, being English is an ethnicity and a race. I'm a Punjabi by race, and I'm proud of that. But I'm also British, and I'm proud of that. I will support and fight for the UK. I'm here, I've got that. But so I have my own identity that I'm comfortable with. And so what I try and explain to people is that if I went back to the Punjab, and I know some people want to deport me, I'm here, you little pricks. You can't get rid of me yet. So basically, when I go back to the Punjab, if I went there and all of a sudden there was like 40% Chinese people, and the language was changing, the culture was changing, things were different from what I thought it was going to be, or what I was.
What if it was illegal to wear a turban?
Yeah, I'd be, obviously I'd go freaking mad. So basically what would happen, I wouldn't hate the Chinese, but I'd hate the change. You understand? So I think people need to start.
It would cause resentment. How would you feel if the people that are telling you that you shouldn't wear that turban, right, then get support from the government which once allowed you to wear that turban? So these newcomers that turn up, not only do they take away your turban, but they get to take the piss out of the fact.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it would be infuriating. I mean, I think you're trying to do an analogy to maybe to the English flag or something like that. You're kind of feeling like something that is yours is being kind of like, yeah. So yeah, I agree. Probably not the best analogy, but I do agree that there are things that I'm like, hold on a second, why don't you let?
I mean, I have to say that it is a perfect analogy in the way that it's something which is very fundamental to the characteristic of your nation. So it's a character that you wouldn't like to see replaced. And for us, that's an identifying symbol. So to get rid of an identifying symbol is no different than pissing on your deepest belief. It
Yeah.
strips you of an identity.
Yeah, I believe that. And so it is like, the problem I have is this, like, so, you know, people are trying to kind of like say that, you know, being English is bad. You can't say you're English. I mean, it's a very weird situation we're in, and it's causing people who are normally kind of, you know, down to earth, normal people to become extreme. So if you're telling someone like Braden, let's just use Braden as an English guy who goes to the park, that, oh, everything about you is bad, you can't be proud of this, you can't be proud of that, you're going to push them to extremism. You're going to make them say, F you, I don't want you here then, if you don't want me to be what I am. Do you understand?
And it will cause more and more extremities. And then obviously anyone that will look up to them will then join those ranks. And that's what I was concerned with yesterday, because, you know, I don't know what's going on in Braden's life at the minute, but, you know, he's one of those characters, people could be drawn to him, and more mistakes could be made. Because as I've said time and time again, I spend a lot of time. I spend a lot of time with people that look like, you know, they would be the thing that everyone labels us as, but they've got black wives and things and wouldn't want that sort of crap spoke about. So that's why he got in trouble where he did. But I want to know what drove that, what forced that, and where it's come from, because it doesn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, so Brett is kind of like a good kind of barometer of like what is going on in a way, because I've known him for like since last year, and he was one of the people that supported me when I was escorted out of the park. If you look at a video of everyone kind of like trying to get me out of the park last year, it was Braden that was by my side. And so I hadn't seen him for like
Right,
6,
Raj,
7
if I had a wage, right, to give to, if I was given money, Raj, if I was given money, right, to get a security team together, and someone that deserves it and has courage, I'd go and get Braden an SIA security and have him with me.
Yeah,
you know,
he's a very good guy. He's a very good guy. But he's turned into a his ideology now. So he's saying, I did kind of like comment with him. I said, come on the show. I don't know if you can get him on later. I'll let you two talk and kind of be in the background, because I think I'll be too much of a disruption. But the thing is, because I spoke to him all that time, he did say he had those views anyway. And I remember one day going to the park, and he was a little bit intoxicated, and I remember him wanting to fight me for no reason. And I was like, dude, what have I done to you? And then he told me yesterday or the day before, oh, it's because like deep inside me, I knew you wasn't one of us. And I was like, okay, all right, fair enough. But I truly don't believe that's the reason why. I think he's kind of imposing his beliefs of today over to them. Because I remember the Braden of them being somebody that was inclusive, like, all right, as long as you want to protect the UK and are pro-UK, you know, I'll support you. Now he's saying that I can't be mayor, and, you know, people like me need to be deported. So how did somebody go from that over to that? What was the influences? Well, how can that happen? Because extremism from the right can get very dangerous, as well as from, you know, I'd say the Islamic side as well.
Do you not think that sometimes the corner is that perfect escape people need from reality? Do you not think that it's that ultimate distraction, like it's a Call of Duty that never ends?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like that. I mean, it's like it's
you know,
like,
we all are.
like,
we all are in a degree, but I'm saying, do you not think it affects others more than others, as it were?
Yeah, I mean, I think some people are okay with being a silent majority, and some people need to speak. And like, I remember before I went to Speaker's Corner, I used to be arguing in my front room with my nephew, and people next door thought we were fighting, but we wasn't. We was arguing kind of feverishly, or kind of very, very aggressively, because the topics was very kind of like sensitive. And so for me, I had to have that avenue to go there to speak. Otherwise, I would have been getting more and more angry. And pissed off that I couldn't voice my opinion. And so I think Braden might be like that as well, like he's gone down there. But I think he's fell in with the wrong crowd. I'm going to mention that big-haired Indian, Raupesh, who thinks he's a white Aryan Nazi. Figure that out. If you look at the videos, because I didn't go Speaker's Corner for 3 months, he turned up, the big-haired Indian, around what was it, September? You know when RI come down to support me in October, the big-haired Indian turned up then as well. And when he turned up, he kind of lingered about like a piece of poop left over. and he's been there ever since. And then I left for around 3 months. I didn't go because I needed a break. And I've realized now when you look at the videos, whenever Braden's talking, you've got the big-haired Indian in the background saying, "Yes, you are the true patriot. You truly are the true patriot. You really are an Aryan, blah, blah, blah." So he's kind of pumping him up in the background.
Well, and we are talking about the character I was speaking to yesterday, I take it.
Yeah. I call him big-haired Indian because I don't like saying his name.
Okay, fair enough.
He has got big-haired, true. I'm not going to lie, Braden. He's got massive ears. They're so big, it looks like he's going to knock someone over. So I'm not even lying. I've got a big nose, so that's all right. I can say it.
It could be worse, you know.
You're right.
I mean, I was at I mentioned I was at a conference the other. Oh shit! I just spilled something on my new jacket. Hang on, bear with me. I hope that someone's not listening. I'll be in big trouble.
What's happening?
I just spilled something on my new jacket, but it's waterproof, so it's sweet.
Oh, I thought it was something serious, man. Stop being a cuck.
Jackets are a big thing to me, Raj. All right. Politics is one thing.
Oh my god! I was about to say stop being a woman, but I don't want to.
Right, hang on. Just repositioning myself. Just got some gunshots going off.
Yeah,
London, eh?
He's
charming.
All right, so yeah. Don't worry, your coat will survive. We will rescue your coat from whatever.
No, however many 100 or 100 and something people are in here, you can all wait. Right, that's it, done. I'm sweet. I am back in the game.
Go on.
Right now, Raj, from here, would you just like to see the things go back to? I mean, I say things go back to how they were. They weren't particularly pleasant. They haven't been pleasant for a long time. I mean, I've never known them to be pleasant, so I don't know what we'd be returning to. I actually did say at one point, because I felt there's such a, for instance, anti-British, anti-white sentiment that if all, Christian and white debaters just left the area, it would only be a matter of time until, because I believe the majority of people there are just haters of white. It'd only be a matter of time until the place fell to pieces, where they argue with each other.
I mean, the thing is, it's kind of like like some people say they don't want no immigrants. Some people say they want some immigrants. I'm of so just so people understand my stance, because some people say, Raj, you're a flip-flopper. Raj, you don't support any side. I don't have any alignment. People have closer alignment with, but I'm not ever in one camp. I'm just closer to certain camps than others. And for me personally, I believe that I think that the immigrant population shouldn't go above maybe 30% max. So 70. I think when it hits above that, then I think you're going to start having a situation where civil unrest will happen because of the kind of different cultures. It
causes resentment, and then that can be betrayed as racism, right? And then what it is when you make any comment racist, the resentment gets worse. So people can't comment on anything and then what you have to do is when you do this, you have to censor all language because facts aren't on your side. Yeah. So, for instance, the John Cleese comment. Should we talk about the John Cleese comment?
Yeah.
I know you said it was
there's a video on Speaker's Corner where I pushed the white Englishman away.
I've not watched that, but you text me saying
so I watched it. So what happened was that I went to speak because Braden had a conversation with a white English gentleman at the park who's a gay Muslim. Let me explain. The guy's name, I don't want to say his name, but he's a gay white English Muslim who is calling for the death penalty for gay people under Sharia. Don't ask. We got some weird people at Speaker's Corner. So he's gay, non-practicing, but he wants the death penalty for gay people under Sharia. So basically, what happened was he had a conversation with Braden. And it went very left field on a very serious kind of topic about what John Cleese said, that London doesn't feel English anymore. So I thought it was a good topic to restart, but from not only an English point of view, but from an immigrant's point of view, because he is talking about immigrants who have come down and changed London. So I think both sides of the input should be had when you're talking
But
about
Don
it, not just
Cleese
from an English side.
would have meant it in the purest form, and he's absolutely right. And what I don't understand is
Mm.
why people aren't just agreeing with him, because whether you're lefty or you, I don't understand. What he said wasn't racist. They should go, yeah, he's right. Ha ha, we've taken over your city. I don't understand why anyone is having a go at him for stating the bloody obvious. You know, you can see that it's no longer majority English, so it's not a racist statement. There's nothing bigoted about that notion. People just don't like it because what it does is it reminds people that they should be thankful for the West and the way it is, and then they have to remind themselves that their native homes aren't as established, and that rebels further against the residents because they feel that we think we're better than them somehow, and they always want to put us down as a result until we are desaddled from our noble horses, when in fact we are no better off than anyone else, in fact worse off in today's climate. But we're told we can't have jobs in many situations and can't say anything in any place. So there's a vast contradictions of realities going on here now. And when I get managed, I mean, LBC now is completely banned. I've never sworn it or anything, but the problem is facts are not on their side. And every time that I say something which might have too much fact to it, hang on, here we go. Oh, F off, Vinnie Sullivan. This guy said 30%. That's 1 in 3 people not English. What? 1 in 3?
Oh, he's so dumb. Is that
Right.
I can't be one. Oh, you're thick, cut killer. That's why it's called
Right,
cut
okay,
killer.
mate. Okay, but
Call yourself
Killer,
cock
that could
killer.
easily. He'll probably be a far lefty, and then he's there to make it look like that's my following.
Dude, it's Raupesh, the big-eared Indian. I'm telling you, he has hundreds of accounts running around with his big ears, trying to disrupt everything. Because me and him, I got big issues. So the big-eared Indian. So yeah. So the thing is, you're right. The thing is that look, I think it's obvious. I mean, it's just real reality that the at this precise moment in history, I'm not saying forever, because there's been times in history when the West have been at the bottom or the middle, and other places in the world have been at the top. Like I mean, in India we had the Harappan civilization, you had Egypt, you had other places as well. But at this precise moment, for the last 300 or 400 years, there's no doubt that the West has been the most developed area of the world. That's just a fact. Now, that doesn't mean that like I love Punjab, and if I'm being honest with Punjab, I'll talk about this later. But basically, so I think some people, do think that we take offense to it, because I think what they took offense to, which I didn't, which was that I think John Cleese didn't like it. He was upset that it wasn't English anymore, and so that in essence means that he doesn't like immigrants. But I didn't take it that way myself. You understand? Some people took it that way from when I was speaking to people.
That's how they want to take it. That's how they would have taken it if you said it more mildly. That's what gets them off. The ability, the right to have a go at whites. Yes, it's our chance to finally have a go at them for daring to have invented vaccines and aeroplanes and space exploration and all the things that everyone benefits from. How very dare we? It's our turn for punishment, apparently.
Yeah, so I'll be honest with you, I think when I've spoken to people, I mean, you've spoken to people like Respect, I call him Hallspect, and other people like Jelly. I don't want to disrespect people. I think a lot of them have an inferiority complex. And so because they've got an inferiority complex, they get aggressive with, like, when you say certain stuff. Like, I'm proud of my history. I'm a British Punjabi Sikh. You can't take my Punjabi ethnic or racial identity from me. That's always going to be there. Yeah, and I'm proud of that ethnic and racial background. The history, you may not know it, but there's a long history going back thousands of years. And so I'm proud of that. I'm comfortable with my identity. And so, but I think some of these people think it's a diss. I see it as it is, that he grew up in the 60s when it was probably mainly English, and he misses that English, quintessential kind of Englishness of London. That doesn't make him racist.
I understand that. I completely understand that, because London, it affects everything. And put it this way, if I've got a few million quid tomorrow somehow, I would want to go and buy a Tudor house. right, and do it up, and have all I'd have a chimney and all that stuff. Now, if you have not grown up with some sort of sympathy for British culture, your first priority is to knock that building down. You don't give a toss about our architecture. And that's happening on a mass scale. If you come from places where it's mainly block buildings or the architecture is very far behind, but that one mindset alone says everything about your mindset towards the culture and where it's going to go. So therefore, when ridiculous left-wing politics also come in, not only is there a cultural problem, but you don't care. You're not going to get involved in the left tearing apart the country. You're not going to fight for the country in the army. You don't give a toss. And there's so many aspects of it which then degenerate society. So London, being the capital, the reason it's a problem is because you get praps like Sadiq Khan in power, right? Who cares not a jot for reality or truth, okay? I would rather have had that...
before you go on, can I ask you, because some people are going to say you don't like Sadiq Khan because he's Muslim. Is that the case? Just be honest. I don't.
I would prefer not to have anyone religious in any political, but especially not a religion which does give permission to dislike myself and anyone that I care
you're
about.
an Islamophobe. Don't say it. Don't say nothing. You're going to be called an Islamophobe tomorrow.
Well, that's fine. Everyone's called me. I'm an atheist, so apparently I'm the worst thing on the planet to everyone.
Can I say something? It's kind of weird. There's a guy called Dave Smith. Is he one of your regulars? Because he's been bashing me for days here, going, Raj, you're Antifa, Raj, you're Antifa. Now he's saying, big up, Raj. This is how much of a degenerate a lot of people on these chats are. They're like little rats, like just writing. They just don't understand what's going on. We're like their gods for some reason. So we need to treat them like children, I think, because they sway like lunatics in the freaking thingy. So 1 minute they hate you, next minute they're with you. So yeah, I kind of I think the problem is with John Cleese's. I don't have an issue with John Cleese's comment.
And he's an old boy, Raj. Like even if he said something racist, you know, if an old boy said something racist about whites, I just think, oh, whatever, he's old school.
Yeah.
You know,
But I don't think it was. So I was talking to that white gay Englishman who wants to chuck himself off a building, allegedly, so there was. I basically, if you look at I mean, you watch the video after. Basically, what happened was I arranged the chat because Braden, I didn't think got a chance to really talk, or he kind of like blew the conversation. So I arranged a chat with this white English guy, the gay guy, Muslim, and some other people who are white but not necessarily English. One was Turkish Muslim, and he looked like a white guy. Another guy was from Irish descent, and another guy. And this gay Muslim started to do Islamic propaganda. And so he started going, well, England has been lost because they don't have traditional values like Islam. Islam will sort this out. So right now, you know, the English culture is about drinking and promiscuity and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, dude, all right, if you're going down that route, I know what you're doing. You're trying to do propaganda. And I said, okay, so culture is not just about drinking. It's about the music, the arts, the buildings, the humor. There's so many things that make up culture, and a lot of that makes up my kind of identity, because I always say I'm a British Punjabi Sikh, because my British kind of side is like my humor, maybe my my love for like art and music. My Punjabi is my ethnicity and race, and that's been influenced, and then my Sikh kind of faith influences that as well. So it's three components that make up me. And if you take one of them out, I wouldn't be me anymore. I'd be a different person in that sense. And so he started to try and push me out the conversation when I started confronting him and saying, "Oh, Raj, you're not English." So think about it: a gay Muslim telling me I'm not English and I can't talk, and he started saying, "Oh, you support Tommy Robinson and racist. You're with EDL and all of that kind of stuff." So I did what I had to do. I chucked him out the conversation and told him to leave, and he left like a little cuck he is. So it was kind of like one of those weird situations where you have somebody calling me a racist, and he's somebody that is kind of like being racist towards me. You understand? Like he was saying, I can't speak because I'm not English.
Raj, I mean, we disagree on your classification of English. I would definitely put you next to myself as an Englishman, and you can disagree with me, but know that that's not me trying to offend you. If you see it as a flattering thing.
Do you want to discuss that? because I think it's an important topic.
Not really. I think we know the arguments we're both going to make. I think we probably had this discussion with people many a time, and just know that I compliment you when I say it. When I see you as an Englishman, it's because I see you as one of mine, not because I'm undermining your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, Vinny. I do appreciate it. You know, people want to see me as English. That's cool. Do I classify myself as English? No. For me, English is a deep kind of like racial history in the sense.
I remember that St George's Day, and I remember that St George's Day. I'll send someone after you with a super soaker.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't mind holding an English flag because I'm from London and I'm from England as well. But I'm not English as a race. I'm a Punjabi, and I think that's maybe because I'm somebody that loves. I'm proud of my own heritage, and if you start saying I'm English,
whose account is PC Barnes? Whose account is PC Barnes?
Big up PC. Obviously, it's a troll account. He's in there, kind of like.
Yeah, but who is that?
Yeah. He's saying you're my Sikh brother. I don't know. You have all these guys, PC Plods and all these kind of stuff. So anyone that doesn't know who PC Barnes is the main guy at Speaker's Corner, and he causes Vinny a lot of headache. And he's all right. He's all right. It's too late.
Yeah, and what they want to do ideally is intimidate you out of going there, because the problem with Speaker's Corner is you can get a lot of traction, and then it's harder to get rid of you because a lot of people can see it.
Yeah.
So for all the people I think are practice down there, I will say this, right? If I was down there and I was making a scene, some people might want to whack me, gas me, whatever. But the one thing they won't like is the idea of the police. I mean, I say that, I think that's rubbish. You know what does make me laugh? The way that they laugh when police escort people off. And I thought everything was about the code. I have not involved the police. I know you have, but I've not gone to the police about anyone, anytime, in any way, right? And the left, they claim they're anarchists, they claim they're communists, they claim they want a socialist revolution, and they run to the police every 5 minutes. And at the corner, when someone gets escorted out, everyone's clapping, saying "ha ha," you know, as if that's what they want. They agree with the police having to come in and step in. So I don't understand. I see a real attitude. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, there's this narrative that they say cops are the ops, and then when I was escorted out, big up the police. So it's kind of like this kind of like cognitive dissonance with them. Like, it's very weird. When I go to Speaker's Corner, it's like walking into a madhouse. It's like a freaking loony bin in there, and I'm one of the lunatics as well. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not free from this, and I had to adjust my behavior over the last couple of months because I was saying stuff that was kind of counterproductive. I still believe in what I said.
You come a long way.
Yeah, so all right, so I'll give you an example. I called I caused a lot of furore because I said I want to ban the burqa. Yeah, and I just said it like that. I want to ban the burqa, and for some reason, people think I'm like the prime minister and I can do it, and they went batshit crazy. Started surrounding me, saying, "Raj, you're a Nazi, racist,"
As if you can,
and so
as if you think your opinion matters on a political scale.
Yeah. So I was like, dude, I'm just saying my opinion. I might be your god, because I always say to people, I'm your god. Now, let me say something. I don't believe I'm a god. I believe they think I'm their god. So they worship me. They'll come up to me. I don't know what their names are. They say, Raj, what? And I say, who are you? I don't know who you are, man. Like, why are you talking to me? And they know my name like they know me. And so I say that, but they do treat me like that sometimes.
That's very similar to my ones. I've got two. I've got Vin Almighty, and the one that really, really annoys the left is the Great White Vin. That one really gets on their way.
I'm like I always say, you know, the word in Islam for worshipping another god is called shirk. So I'm always trolling them, like, stop doing shirk, you little pricks, because it's like against their faith. And so I had that like kind of like weird situation that when I say something, they think it's going to come to reality the next morning. It's only my opinion. So I said it, and the amount of shit I got for that, and I regret doing it in that way. I should have really rephrased it and said, let's discuss banning the burqa. And then I could have had a fruitful discussion, because I still think it should be banned. And so I had a conversation, and a lady would have...
I'll just be quick. You know, I can't speak on it too much.
Yeah.
I will give my opinion as to why some people think that they're entitled and are so sensitive. Now, most forms of religion, especially the other two Abrahamic ones, have been through so much speculation, comedy, satire, So they've had time to adjust. This time, 40, 50 years ago, you know, certain phrases, it would be just as bad in some cases. I mean, the life of Brian caused absolute hell, but there was no, the repercussions wouldn't result in hundreds of deaths. I mean, I find that the most recent Eastern religion hasn't had that time, or it hasn't induced comedy into itself. And I find that some of its actual dictations made it difficult to implement that. Most people don't know that any verse that comes after the last verse overrides the previous verse.
Oh, Islamophobe! Don't say that you're an Islamophobe.
I don't want to get it. No, but I mean that they would hopefully agree with that.
You can't say nothing, even if it's facts. You're an Islamophobe. You can't even say facts.
Yeah, I mean, as an atheist, what breaks my heart, and I've said this from day one, is my favourite discussion, and people might disagree with me because I was speaking to Bob down there, and I genuinely, in the end, thought after I heard him say he would forgive a paedophile, and now Bob, I got a lot of respect for Bob. I will have another discussion with him sometime. I think he's an absolute legend. But I didn't like the course of the conversation. I thought it was a bit prattish. But irrelevant to that, I do love the discussion of why are we here, the universe. And I find that the fact that I can't speak about it in general, my favorite conversation, which we should all be asking about, every human should be asking the big question, why are we here, is limited by one particular group. And then it's facilitated by Christianity as well, which pisses me off, right? Christianity, I mean, I am going to make so many enemies here, but the only thing facilitating to the modern Eastern theism is modern Western theism, which comes from Eastern theism. The only thing, because otherwise, if you come over here saying we believe in something we can't prove, we'd say, well, that's ridiculous. The only thing making it logical is our own fairy tales.
All the Christians and Muslims gang up on Vinnie. He's against you. Sorry, I'm just getting you more enemies. You need a couple more, don't you?
Oh,
can I just answer Chartel 77? She's kind of having a hissy fit in the thingy, waving her arms about. Go back and wash the dishes, you lunatic. So basically, what she's saying is that Raj, you're a hypocrite for wanting to ban the burqa, but you wear a turban. Now, on the outside, it looks like I'm being hypocritical. Now, the reason so let me explain. No, I'm not going to go into it. I just want to explain why I'm talking about me, not you. The reason I think it's a good idea to at least look into it is that when I wear my turban, no one has an issue seeing my expressions. No one has an issue seeing my face, and when I'm happy, when I'm sad, and I can smile at people as I'm walking around, and we can have that human interaction without even speaking. Now, I've had a conversation with a lady in the car on that day because they got upset. And the perfect example as why it's a problem is that she said to me she was upset. And I said, when? She said 5 minutes ago. And you may think I'm joking, but I said, I didn't see you. I didn't know you was upset because I can't see your face. Yeah. And so if you can't even communicate on the most basic level of emotions, it's a problem. So for me, it's more about social cohesion, about being able to see people's faces and being able to talk openly. We won't go too deep into this, otherwise you'll get some kind of mad, I don't know, hate mail, hate.
I'm hoping that the Muslims that are listening can understand what I'm saying, that there is the limit on discussion has affected us, and it would be nice if we can talk about it. That's all I'm going to say on the topic, because at the minute we're all aware that there are issues going on in society, but if virtually I've seen so many people make so many mistakes that I've got very little to gain from following those avenues. But there are people that have allowed the immigration statistics to happen, and they are the people that should be answering for what's going on, because if you fall for the trap and fall into the maze, you won't escape it.
All right, so Chartel 77, it's just my sense of humor. She's getting upset now. She's not used to hearing me. I do roast people a bit. It's just the way I am. I'm not real.
Trust me, just lighten up. He roasts. That's what he does. It's just him.
Yeah, they'll get used to it. It's like a bit like sadomasochism.
It is. It's
a bit like sadomasochism. They start liking it after a while. So just
like, they come back for more. The same. I watch your feeds, right? The same names come back again and again just to beef you.
Yeah, you got So it's kind of weird how people kind of like, although they hate me, they say they hate me. They seem to watch me a lot.
Nah,
so it's kind of one of those. It's kind of one of those weird situations where I think it's more about how I deliver stuff, not necessarily what I'm saying. I need to. That's one of the criticisms I've tried to take on board. That you know, having a discussion at Speaker's Corner, if you're going in there saying, I want to ban this, you're going to piss people off. Yeah. And even if you know, even people that don't agree with it will probably think that's a bit harsh. So I think saying, let's discuss banning it
What you just said there is the difference right now. See, with us, when we began, we started helping people that were being victimized and putting people on the street. And over time, you realize you're fighting a battle which has been going on for centuries. You can find footage on these battles going on forever. How are you going to warn people outside of it? What you just said there is the difference between 5 years of people making a mistake or people seeing a video of you giving good advice which changes their lives. And that's what we try and do. We try and find the traps that the left are setting, whether it's, you know, like I said yesterday, from Zuckerberg to YouTube, to advertising to hate crime traps. And what you just said there might be a good line of work for you in the future. You've learned a lot. And there's people you could help that don't go down the same route.
Yeah, so I want to kind of like touch upon what's, because tomorrow, I mean, the reason I mean, thanks for, like, you know, like when I call these guys, they always pick the phone up, unlike some people. And so, you know, I really appreciate that you guys, when I call you, you're there for me. And like, you know, I don't really have a crew per se, and I prefer it that way because
You do, mate. You just don't know it.
No, what I'm saying, I'm talking about like when I walk about, I like to be kind of like not like stuck to somebody. So a lot of people think, oh, Raj, you're always based. No, I like it like that physically. I like to walk about without having like 50 people around me, like, you know, looking like my hangers on. So what happens is people start to think, because I'm like that nobody really supports me. But yeah, I know there's people that support me. So big up to all you guys. So
well, I have to say, I'm going to come in on your behalf on that, because the amount of times Raj has said to me, no, I'm all right, Vin. No, I'm all right, Vin. Don't worry, leave it to me. I've got myself into this mess.
Yeah,
you know, I have to vouch for what you just said there, because, you know,
the only reason I called quite a lot of people this week is because of the accusations. I won't say exactly what on here because I don't want to get people in trouble, but the accusations or the threats, because I didn't know who the individual was. I had to take them seriously just because of
course.
And I told you on the phone what I know certain things. I'm not going to say it because I could get you know, sued or something. So I knew certain stuff, and I was like, okay, if it's true, I need to find out if it's true. And let me say that the only army this individual has got 4chan behind him. So big up to 4chan. Cool. We can deal with
4chan is a very, very dangerous army, but you have got no fear of them coming out.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I can take a lot of online abuse. That's not a problem. It's like muting speakers, because I'm always outnumbered in Speaker's Corner, and when everyone's
or Doddle.
Yeah. So when everyone's kind of like trying to like this week's been a bit of a weird situation for me, because I have been building bridges with the Muslim community, the Pakistani community and stuff, and yeah, I mean, I built quite a few bridges because I thought, all right,
mate, I'd like to, mate, easier said than done when you know, every rumor against you is set to put you down. It's so much harder. Fresh people coming into the park will already have a preconceived hatred of you from other people's hearsay.
Yeah. Can I just say, Chartel77, please wash the dishes or something. Just distract yourself. I don't know why you're getting upset by what I said. Oh my God, this is the problem. She's gone mad in there. I better not read it. So I don't know what I said that upset her. So you know, I'm sorry. What do you want? More do you want from me?
What they moaning about?
I just said she was the one that wrote the comment about the turban and the burqa and stuff. Forget about it. Let's not concentrate on that. So the thing is, I want to just explain. Do you mind if I just go into what's happened over the last week? Because it's been a bit of a weird week.
Yeah, go on. I'm walking about with a laptop, so bear with me. Go on. You carry on. I'm just going to mute my mic while you explain.
Yeah. So basically, what's happened is I was away from Speaker's Corner for 3 months. I needed to take a bit of a break because I was going every week, and it was just getting counterproductive. So I thought, all right, let me prioritize my family and stuff, and that's going to be the priority. And I go Speaker's Corner once in a while. And when I went back, a few things had changed, and slowly last week or the week before, there's a Muslim sister that went to the park, and I don't want to say her name, but she started going to the park like 5 months ago before I had a bit of a break, because she suffered from depression, and I talk about depression a lot because I suffer from depression before and suicidal tendencies, and I had a drink problem. I haven't drank in 6 years, and I'm in a good mood at the moment, even though people think that I look miserable a lot of times. So I thought I've got a valuable story of how to beat depression, or at least tackle it. So this Muslim sister who wears a hijab came over to me, and I would say she was a vulnerable Muslim sister, and she was in a state where I thought if I turned her away, she might do something silly, because I know from past experiences that when you suffer from depression and you try and seek help, and then somebody says, "Oh, I can't talk to you," it can have a counterproductive effect. And so I decided, okay, I'll speak to her, even though I know I'm going to get
It's
stick.
rejection, isn't it? It's a never-ending. You're just adding to that list of rejection.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's very dangerous. So I spoke to him in private, and I never used her. I put her, in the car. Whenever she said, "Oh, can we speak?" I said, "Let's go speak in private." Advised her, told her to not really associate with me because I've got the stigma of being an Islamophobe, even though I don't think I am. And people started to realize that she kind of has spoken to me because she started commenting on my videos, and then the Muslim men some of them started attacking her and threatening her, saying, "Oh, we're going to come down and beat you up. We're going to do this. You're a hoe. You're that." And she's a very fragile person. So I thought that she was getting stressed out.
What has she done to merit this treatment?
Because they were saying that she's talking to me and I'm an Islamophobe, and so she's a disgrace. What is going on between us? Are you doing?
I mean, have we yet come to terms with their definition of Islamophobe?
Yeah, I mean that's a real complicated topic. So I mean, like I said,
it now come down to someone that isn't allowed to be atheist. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean the thing is that
ultimately I can't say that I don't conscript to that belief system, and I can't mock it as a system because
yeah. I mean it's a very kind of. I mean I could go into it for hours, so I'm gonna have to leave it for now. Maybe we'll do it on another topic, a whole topic. But
you can tell how sensitive I'm being on the whole topic,
Yeah, because I don't personally believe I'm an Islamophobe, because I don't want Muslims to stop practicing their faith. I don't really care if they pray 5 times a day or go to the mosque. I just don't want that to be influenced on the wider community in terms of how this society is run. I don't want kind of like restrictions on free speech or music not being played in certain areas or stuff like that. I just want things to stay how they were, and if that means that I have to criticize certain practices that are from a particular faith, I'll criticize them. That doesn't mean I
last night, and it was getting late, and I had to get up early because I was meeting my friend to go train. But he come on late at the end of and he was talking about white privilege basically, and asked me for evidence, this, that, and the other. And he said, "Why does Braden deserve?" And I thought, you know what, I'm going to bed because I had a lot to say. I thought I'm not going to. And he said, "Why does Braden deserve to say, immigrants taking our jobs when he hasn't got a job? He's not paying into society."
That was actually Dan.
And I thought,
Dan maybe.
Huh?
I think it was.
Well, I thought everyone has their ups and downs for a start, right? But when I was young, I once turned to my dad when we used to go ups and downs of having money. We had businesses and that, and I once said to him, "Do you not think Mum's got an attitude? Do you not think you spoil her too much?" And he said to me, "If you had a wife and loads of money, would she work?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well then, so sometimes we do things for other people, for the next generation, for the future, whether they're right or wrong. The fact is, you create something for your people. It doesn't mean that. So even if they're a fuck up, it doesn't matter. It still come from them, right? So if I have a Down syndrome son, what? Because someone gets to take his inheritance if I've got money just because he's Down syndrome? No, he's still mine, and that's still the way it works. You make things for your future and for your people's future. So to say Braden doesn't deserve a say,
I think that's a lazy argument. I didn't really intervene because I was off the panel. I think it's a lazy argument to just try and deflect from the wider issue. You can't say because you're currently unemployed you don't have a say in the matter. It's a bit stupid because people are in employment and out of employment. It's just a normal part of life, isn't it? But Braden has said some crazy stuff about aborting Down syndrome babies and any babies with disabilities and stuff. So I don't know where he's got these views from, but he believes in that kind of ideology now, that you know, like eugenics and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to carry on with the thing. So basically, I spoke to this young lady who was a lovely Muslim lady, and everyone loves her at the park. And so she was getting abused from our Muslim brothers, some of them. And so I defended her and said, calling these people out because they're threatening her. And so from that, you know, they kind of backed off a little bit. And this Raupesh, you know, Raupesh, I call him the big-haired Indian Nazi, saw that I had a soft spot for her. And I always talk about my mother as well. I always say, look, the only person I truly trust and I truly 100%, you know, can tell me what to do is my mother. And that's it. So when people hear that, they think, okay, Raj doesn't give a shit about anything apart from his mother, so let's attack his mother. So Raupesh has been mercilessly saying he's going to gun for my mum, my elderly mum, and make her life hell, and that, you know, he's going to be, he's going to go to war with her. Basically, that's what he said, to get to me. And so basically, Ralph has been going to the park, and he's had some crazy views. So this Ralph, or Raupesh, I call him, is a mixed race, half Indian Tamil. So Tamils are actually South Indian, so are normally darker than North Indians. And so he's quite dark. He doesn't look mixed race. He's actually darker than me. And so he's trying to, he's been going to the park talking about, you know, the white replacement and all that stuff, and about deporting Muslims in particular, or deporting people that, you know, he deems to be unfit for the UK. And just to show you how deluded and mad he is, he would deport himself. So he's one of those type of guys. He said he's not white, so he will deport himself for the cause. He will put himself down on the sword for the cause. So he is very committed. I've got to give him that, although a deluded madman. And so we've had him on our panels. I remember, Vinny, you remember he was on Manny Cinders, don't you?
Yes, I got invited on. I got invited on, and he was really flattering to myself at first, and didn't give any of it away. But I've got to say, if this cuts out, it's because I'm walking towards my charger, and if it does, I'll read. Okay.
Washing the dishes.
So carry on.
Yeah. So basically, we've had him on the panels, not because we agree with him, but because I believe I want to hear all sides, the most extreme.
Well, from both sides. Discourse, isn't it? When someone's, you know,
yeah, because then you can show what you agree and what you don't agree with. Because people think we agree with each other. I disagree with a lot of stuff. I agree with the basic issues, that there's issues, but not the solutions that he's going for. So his solutions are basically, if you don't leave and we want you to leave, we'll shoot you in the head. I mean, he said that openly on panels, even yesterday, that if you don't leave, well, you're going to have to be dealt with.
But Raj, where did these opinions come out of the blue like this? I don't. You see, with myself, you know, yes, you can say where have I come from, but you know, where has these? I certainly wouldn't be talking on such violent acts.
I don't know if he's. I don't know how he's getting away with it. I don't know how he's managed to say, because even there was a live stream the other day with a black lady. And the black lady he was telling her, I think he calls people jungle bunnies and stuff and all that. And then he was saying, he was calling people the N-word all day the other day. And then he said, I will deport you. You have to leave the country, to the black lady. I remember he's brown himself. And then she said, I'm not leaving. He said, what about if I gave you compensation? She said, 20 million. He said, I'd rather shoot you in the head. Yeah. So I can't imagine anybody else saying shit like that and no one's talking to him. So his kind of rhetoric is either he's provoking people to say stuff, or he genuinely believes them and he's a mad brown Nazi, a deluded lunatic. And so he's been spouting this week. So this week it kind of went a bit weird between me and him, because we actually got on a personal level.
Do you find it's getting more and more sinister as time develops?
Yeah, I feel like there's kind of like because I think people are starting to realize that people like Tommy Robinson aren't racist but patriots. And there's a big difference between being a racist and a patriot. Unfortunately, there will be racists that will kind of like get on the coattails of that particular movement. There's no way you can stop it. It's going to happen. You just need to marginalize them and make sure they know they're not truly welcome within the wider picture. Unfortunately, I think people like Ralph have suddenly popped up from nowhere and because he's brown, he can say the most ridiculous things that nobody else can say. Yeah,
What I
from
find
the white
impressive
side.
is the confidence he has in doing it. How is he so assertive in knowing he's going to get away with it? He doesn't seem, you know, if I said the things he said, I'd have a hard bed that night. I'd struggle to sleep knowing I'm good. You know, what have I just done? And I, you know, at this point in my life, whatever I've done in my life, I've sacrificed it. I don't give a toss. Release what you like. It's too late for that. My loyal ones are my loyal ones. It is the way it is now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't dig yourself a deeper hole, because this guy has had 15 minutes, you know, with the cameras on him, and he seems quite used to it. He doesn't seem bothered. And this is, yeah, you can. I did have a suspicious amount of confidence when I started, because I felt I had a good argument. Telling people that you want to shoot them in the head is not a good argument. That's not. I wouldn't be confident in going out and saying that without feeling.
To put a bit of context in it, he actually was, and I'm not saying he condoned the New Zealand's killing. He was saying he was sympathetic with the New Zealand, you know, the guy that killed all the people in the mosque, and he started doing gun gestures on live streams to Muslims. I'm going to use you as target practice. And so I remember this was like the day after the New Zealand attack, so it was very insensitive when you have this guy on there putting his gun fingers up at people saying, I'm going to use you as target practice, even in a joking way. It's very insensitive. So he's just a character that seems to be able to get away with freaking so much stuff. I don't know how he does it. And so basically what happened was I was on a live stream like normally with another guy, and we would an ex-Muslim. We was just, and he's a big atheist and he hates Islam with a passion. I mean, he's a freaking lunatic. You need to get him on it one time. Banksy is an amazing guy, man.
I was actually on with him that time when I was on with it, but he kept relatively quiet. I think he was scoping me out, actually.
Yeah. He's a good. He's a. Oh, you don't want him on it. He's too on PC. He'll get your freaking channel shut down by that shit he talks. So yeah, it's a bit too much. But so basically, what happened? I was on that show, and this particular guy, Raupesh, has a beef with another Muslim woman, and this Muslim woman slandered him, and I would say she did slander him quite hard. And even I condemned her. I said, you shouldn't have said that. I'm not going to repeat it because I don't want to get involved in that. But he said to her on the live stream, which is still up, that, oh, your father effed you when you was a kid. And her dad's dead, yeah? And I knew that. I was like, dude, you can't say that. And then he started saying, oh, you support her. Yeah? If you support her, then you're fair game, basically.
Was he aware of what had happened to her father?
I don't think he was aware of what happened to him. I'm not even sure if he was aware. Yeah.
Then, you know, bear in mind the man's back's against the wall at this point. I'm not defending anything about him, but at this stage, he's going to be combative, whatever you say, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I condemn both of them. I said, she's wrong and you're wrong. You're both wrong. You're both going into the gutter. So I didn't side with anyone. I was just trying to be fair. Don't talk about stuff about him, and you don't talk about stuff about her. And so I was just trying to be fair. So he took that as me siding with her. And that's when the relationship between me and him just went freaking totally pear-shaped. Because he then said, okay, if you're against me, I'm going to, you know, the vulnerable girl, Muslim girl I was talking about. He said, would it be okay for me to start targeting her? So he wanted it because he knew I cared about her and she was vulnerable. And I said, dude, leave her out of it. So he knew it was like a soft spot, and he started targeting. And that's my problem sometimes. I tell people I've got a soft spot for somebody, and then they start targeting that person because they know I'm tough.
That is an amateur move, I must admit.
Yeah. So he said, all right. And then what happened was we come to an agreement to leave it alone. We'll have a truce. But the next morning I woke up and I hadn't gone speaker's corner because I had a lot of things to do. And then there was a video with this young lady who is very on camera. You can't tell, but I know her story. I'm not going to repeat it. She's vulnerable. And Ralph was talking to her, and she accidentally called him Raj. And he said, if you called me Raj in a joking way, he said, I'll shoot you in the head. And then he started doing gun gestures again, saying, your target practice in a jokey way. Remember, it may seem quite trivial to others, but this girl is not cut out for the park. I've told her not to go. Also, he kind of sympathized with the other New Zealand attacks, so was making jokes before about, oh, your target practice. And so she was laughing with him, in my opinion, out of nervousness, because she clarified after in a video that she felt very disrespected. I then condemned Ralph for that, and I was pretty much saying, look, you crossed the line. It wasn't to a point that he couldn't come back though. I was going to give him the opportunity to just apologize to her and move on. But what happened was that he then started gunning for my mother, started saying he's going to do this, he's going to do that, he's going to go. I'm not going to say the name. You know, I told you who he said he's going to bring down. Started making threats. I'm talking about real serious threats from banned terrorist organizations, and I can't name them. And I've got to take them seriously because I know of another incident that he was involved in, which violence occurred outside the park. And so I had to take it seriously. But when I started, so that's when I started calling the people that I know, including yourself.
That is the correct one in which I think it is. I wouldn't have had that happen despite that person's hatred of myself.
Yeah. So you know, we're not going to talk about it because it's legal issues. But
I don't like the person.
Yeah, I don't like that person, but he was out of order for doing that. And so basically, because of that, I had to take it seriously.
Situation, you know, but we'll move on and not discuss anything too sensitive.
Yeah. So basically, that happened, and so I took a bit of took it seriously. So I started making phone calls to who and whoever, including the police. I wanted to know what they knew, and before everyone says, "Raj, you're a snitch," yes, I am a snitch, but for the right people.
Grass, Raj.
Dude, man, if I hear something and I think it's against national security and people are making dangerous threats, I have no issue going to the police.
I would honestly gun you for that. Like, if it's any other situation, apart from obviously paedophilia, but I understand in that part, but some of the discussions may actually hurt civilians, and I understand it's a different scale from, you know, some of the low-level activities that people do in the working class society. So I don't.
Well, remember the London terror attack guy that stabbed everyone used to go Speaker's Corner sometimes. So you have to understand it's very dangerous people in that place. And so if I don't care, I'm open about it. I tell people I'm a snitch. What are you going to do about it? I snitch on people on certain individuals. I'm not saying who, but I don't give a shit. So basically, that all happened, and when I started looking into him, I realized he's not, because he used to say that he's part of the right, and that he's a true patriot, and that he has certain people behind him. I'm not going to say their names. And then when I looked into it, no one knew him. And I was like, all right, that's a bit suspect. No one knows him. Where did he come from? Then I phoned, obviously, the police, and they said that they've looked into him, but he's a nobody. Now, yesterday, when you jumped on the stream, I'll big up to yourself for jumping on the stream and kind of talking to him. He's now changed his position, and he's now saying he's not part of that group, but he's the Christian far right. So I think that's a progressive step, because now I can distance myself from him and say, look, he's not part of any movement apart from the Christian far right now. So I think if anything from last night, I think that was a good step.
Oh, so so that's the bit I missed. Are you saying since him and I spoke, because I was changing my shirt there?
Yeah.
Right.
So he's changed his narrative now. He's saying, I'm not part. I've got no group with them. I've got no affiliations with them, and I'm part of the Christian far right, and I'm funded in America. So I don't care if he says that. That's cool. You're funded by America and you're Christian far right. Yeah, just keep on saying that. Fair enough.
And for all the people that are, you know, against the Jakes or whatever they want to call the government, I find, you know, obviously I'm not this well presented all the time, and I've got my working class attributes in swear a lot more and that off screen. But what I don't understand is why people at the park are so easily tricked by all of the tricks of the trade. So why is it everyone falls into the belief of saying this far right guy? No, I'm afraid that when you understand how the far left works and how the government really works and the schemes that are going on 24, I promise you, most punch-ups that happen in right-wing marches are usually someone who is undercover, who goes in because they need to get someone, and they're tired of his image getting up. So for instance, myself, if I'm out, I will not fight or anything. I mean, I was out once. I remember we just finished a march, and we walked to Chinatown, and this guy. Now, this happens in the city all the time, but this particular guy, I just thought, this guy comes up to us and starts splashing water all over us, stamping on a.
Oh, is that the video of you and Glenn?
No. This wasn't on film. This was one of the many.
Can I just say something? I have to admit, if I didn't know you, I'd think you were like lunatics. But you and Glenn are such nice guys. Like, you freaking look like lunatics in that video.
But you know, we
do. The perception that people can kind of like make if they don't know people.
That's it, and you know, the only reason I'm here and the only reason I've had my head split open and things like that is because there's no money in this for me. There's no one that we've not got any sort of. This is genuinely comes down to accumulation of people that care about other people.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can say it till I'm blue in the face. I'll just have to prove it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, oh, can I just say something? There's a guy called Semantic that says, let's not forget Sikhs worship an elephant. Shut your mouth, you turd. Sikhs don't worship no elephants. We're Sikhs, not Hindus, you little pussy-o. Start reading for once.
Oh,
Sorry
shit.
about that. Very low IQ. They're degenerates in the. I mean, some people are such degenerates, man. It's unbelievable. They're like excrement on my foot. That freaking Semantic little prick. So basically, yeah, I would say that one of the. I mean, all right. So one of the things is that people are kind of confused what my kind of goal is about going Speaker's Corner. Now, I have obviously the kind of move to kind of like protect free speech because if I'm telling you, if I'm being honest with you, there are a lot of kind of people would say scare tactics, and I don't always believe all of the stories sort of things. But there is one thing I definitely say is 100% under threat, and it's under threat right now is free speech. 100%. Yeah, that is a real threat. And if Speaker's Corner, there's been times at Speaker's Corner that free speech seems to be impeded, and if you can't speak at Speaker's Corner, you're not going to speak anywhere in the UK, and that's why Speaker's Corner is so important.
Well, do you not find that's why I refer back to what I said, that an amendment, what it does is it puts the freedom of speech in law. So right now, for instance, the alt-left tech alliance companies of Silicon Valley are breaking American law by determining speech. It's written in the Constitution that you cannot determine what people say as long as it's not on a terrorist basis or violent. So I believe, I mean, you know, I love England and the memory of it anyway, but I would still be willing to see a whole new set of bills written out for Parliament that would have freedom of expression written, and if it results in me having to see more bloody LGBT rallies, as long as we can fight.
We got the LGBTQ people, man.
Well, unfortunately not, because in my opinion, LGBT is just an excuse to push communist claptrap rubbish and ruin the society that we live in. If you're really gay, you don't need men walking around in dog collars and degeneracy pushed in schools.
Yeah. All right. So this is a very complicated situation. I've spoken about this before. A lot of people think Raj is the LGBTQ Sikh warrior, and I'm not. I'm as straight as a freaking pole. And the thing is that I'm not an LGBT because I'm always defending, like, gay people at the part. I mean, not gay, but trans, Sophia, transgender and stuff. And the thing is, I'm defending the weak. Like, she is she's like by herself. The Muslims and some black guys are just so aggressive towards her just because she's transgender for no other reason apart from that they get aggressive towards her. And so I'm protecting it. Doesn't mean I 100% agree with people being homosexual or transgender, but I don't want them to be persecuted or for it to be illegal. There's a difference. But I don't want to persecute. And I agree that walking around like in gay parades, like with your little arse hanging out and your dick in someone's face is not the best way to promote your cause.
I've got a group, right? I've got a group, and it's just called the Anti-White LGBT Degeneracy Agenda, and it is just packed with an accumulation of evidence. Because when people say, "Oh, prove it," I say, "Okay, join this," and it is just not end to end of degenerate, and it's all legal. It's all stuff on that the LGBT have put on Facebook. It's all their stuff, like Desmond is amazing. The kid that dances for dollar bills in bars,
So I said, can I ask you a question? Do you know the furore up north with the Muslims at the Birmingham school? What's your stance on that? Because it's complicated, man. Like,
well, first of all, I can't really comment on it too much because either side, I'll get flayed like a mutineer on a pirate ship. But what I can say is it's incredibly pleasant to see the left wing's ideology eat itself up. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, can I comment on it, or are you going to get in trouble?
You're your own man. You're your own man.
All right. So basically, like, I'm actually kind of finding it humorous watching the left be eaten by their own ideology, because even Owen Jones, that little turd, wrote an article and he blamed the right for the Muslims boycotting the bloody the school. Like that's how degenerate that little prick is.
He did
Uh,
what? We got the.
so
We got.
basically,
We
there's
was,
an article, and he was talking about the Muslims boycotting the thingy and not wanting to do that, and he blamed the right for it.
I don't understand. I mean, how do we get the blame when we weren't there? This is an impressive new feat. I mean, at this point, what if you're saying we're doing things we didn't do? Why don't you give us the credit of, I don't know, building the Barclays building? We'll have the money, please.
Yeah. I mean, it just shows you that he's so left and so deluded that
I ran into
outwardly say that he blames just one community. He has to put it onto the right for some reason. It's a very weird.
I ran into him a month ago, and the Guardian removed a load of videos of. I've still got mine online because it was out footage, but they went.
Is it on your channel?
It is because I
look.
asked him about there's an ex-KGB editor that worked for the Guardian, and he didn't want to answer it, so they went round obviously taking this footage down, and I didn't answer the questions I should have, but I confronted him in a way. Now I'm usually more diplomatic, but with him, he never confronted the working class, and I was very, very chauvinistic towards him, shall we say. I could have been more diplomatic, but to be honest, I don't regret my attitude towards him. And when he tried to turn around and say, "What about Nigel Farage's links to Russia?" I said, "What, is he on Telegram or something? What are you talking about? Answer my question." And then he buggers off. He knew who I was. He's blocked me 3 times.
I don't say the word bugger, man. They're going to get you for that, dude. They're going to say you're.
He's tagged me stuff before. He was, and then the next day he started pretending. Look at Vinny, thinking I knew who he was because I was going, who
Can I say something, dude? Sorry, Braden's in the house. I think it might be a good idea to get him off towards the end. Whenever you think the end's going to happen, and get him on. It's up to you. If you got time. What do you want to do?
I don't want any language on the channel used that isn't suitable. I'm willing to talk on another panel, to be honest, Raj.
Okay, all right. We'll do it. Oh, are you going to start a new one, or are you going to do it next time?
I mean, we could do one tomorrow because after this, I'll have to go and do some work with my lot in about an hour or so.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's going to be productive for me, to be honest. I think you need to kind of like, like Braden's a bit like me. I think he's a lone wolf and he doesn't like to be part of a group.
I lost his number. I go through phones like women. Only joking, mate. I'm a baron.
Oh, sexist.
No, honestly, I'm telling you now, if I was into cougars or gays, I'd be laughing. My inbox is a joke, right?
All right.
I would be laughing. The biggest problem, right? You do get some female fans, as it were. Yeah. But the problem is, you can't. This isn't like being a singer. You can't trust it.
You're probably a fat old man behind there.
He was a copper. No, it's not that. If you was the establishment trying to set someone up, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a female. That's what the KGB and that stuff used to do, was use females to kind of get people and manipulate them.
It's unfortunate, but the saying goes, "Love makes you weak," and it does, because it's bedtime talk that is the most dangerous thing and can take you down. And that's
well, the thing is, there's two men I can't trust here. It's a man that drinks too much and has got loose lips, and a man that is easily manipulated by women. Those two men I can't trust. Like, you can't. If you start yapping your mouth when a pretty woman goes over, or you start yapping your mouth when you're drunk, and you can't tell that person nothing.
No, and I've also seen some real. There are names in the movement I could name that. There are a few different types of weaknesses each man possesses, and if your business is to assess people and stay safe, you look at people and you think, right, one of three things drives them: money, power, or women. And each person has one of these weaknesses, and you assess the character appropriately, so that if you ever did decide to test them and get information out of them, you know the process in which to follow. So that's with every human being. So from when you leave your door tomorrow and you've got an adversary, look at him and see his weakness and how would be the best way to get in. With myself, if you look at my past, I was a walkover expert. I'd have done anything for them. That they'd have slapped me about and I'd have done anything. So if you was old Bill or you was the far left, the best thing you'd do is send in some sort of salt. And that's why I basically live the life of a monk, unless I approach someone. And the unfortunate life that we've chosen. It's not like being a celeb. No one's going to book a table for you. No one's going to make room in the restaurant for you. They're going to say you can't come in. That's the media. It's not like you know, being known for being in a band.
Yeah. One of the reasons I met Gerard Batten, you know, the UKIP leader, and I didn't trust him after I met him because he was so easily swayed by a pretty girl. I was like, dude, you are freaking well not suitable for office. Like, do you understand? Like, as soon as a woman come over, I was talking to him mid conversation, he stopped the conversation because there's a pretty woman there, and she just batted her eyelids, and he was just freaking gone. And I was like, dude, you can't run the country. You can't freaking more control yourself like that. So, I'm glad I don't drink anymore. I'm teetotal because I used to have a loose mouth and I used to drink. And people say, Raj, you're on the internet all the time. Dude, you little pricks. I know a lot behind the scenes that I don't ever divulge in the internet. So it's not like I'm divulging anything. Can I just say something? If Carl is going, oh, he's not going this week. So I might see him the week after. But if he was going to go, I was going to phone you, Vinny. And then maybe you could have a quick 5-minute chat with him, but he's not going to be there tomorrow. It's actually quite good. I'm actually happy. Do you know why? Because Raupish, the Indian Nazi, is moving his forces against me. Don't worry, I don't need no help because he's easy pickings now. So I know he's nobody. So whereas before I didn't. And I'm just going to go there and just expose the little Indian Nazi. And well, I'm glad he's actually said now. I'm not sure if I got much of an issue with him now because he's not claiming to be in the movement of supporting Tommy Robinson and stuff. He's claiming now that he's a far right Christian, which is a different movement, basically, isn't it? So you've got no issue with him saying that, isn't it?
It'll make you wonder, if I hadn't had a discussion with him yesterday, how long would that narrative have continued? Would he have then?
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is that he was trying to because no one he has got a good way of talking. He's got a good. I mean, I'm kind of sad I fell out with him because although I hate his views, I can never.
The thing is, I've learned to dislike him for now because of what he was saying yesterday. There was a chap called Dan, and whether anyone likes Dan or not, I didn't appreciate. I mean, you could see you were winning. What are you doing at this point? What are you doing at this point? It went past the point of it being funny. If we was all in a room getting drunk and they found that funny together, then so be it. Let them batter each other. It was.
Remember, they're sworn enemies. So if you're calling your sworn enemy who's black a jungle black, you go back to the jungle, you're an N-word, then that is totally unacceptable. But the thing about Ralph, he's going to win you over very easily. That's one of his thingy. I mean, there are people that he's calling for the death for who shake his hand and laugh with him. So that is a talent that you can't take away, but it's a dangerous talent because he can easily manipulate people.
With yourself, I knew your concern, but what you didn't sort of understand about us is at the part you are all relatively open and honest. We deal with snipes.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't. I mean, there must have been times in that conversation you felt that maybe I have been persuaded, but you found towards the end.
No, I didn't. You handled it right.
I tend to know what we look at things in a very suspicious light, and I think people are quick to go, this guy has this his opinion. Let's have a debate with this guy about this opinion, without often speculating. Is he trying to draw you into something which will ruin?
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. The problem is he's trying to draw me out about my mum. But the thing is, I'm so look. A lot of people think I'm angry all the time, but I have an on-off switch about shouting, so I can say, "Shut your mouth, you little prick!" Yeah, in a split second. But I'm not angry. It's kind of more of a bravado, like a roar. But when I'm really angry, I'm calm.
Yeah. I love your.
Yeah, so it's a lot of people mistake that kind of like when I shout, because I shout a lot at people when I'm at park.
There's nothing shouting on a stream. I mean that. You should be on GMT. You should be on every morning on a morning show ranting about different subjects, because I'm very hard to impress, but I can watch you bang on a table and moan for no reason.
I've actually done 6-hour live streams by myself just talking, and I thought it's like just an hour gone by.
Yeah.
The thing is, all right. Oh, someone's saying I said the word packy on Manny Cinder's show. And yes, I'll say it again, packy, because I've been called a packy. The word packy isn't just aimed at Pakistanis. It's aimed at Sikhs, Hindus, and anyone that's brown. So I have a right to say it. So shut your mouth. There's a lot of narrative that I say the word packy sometimes, but I've been called a Paki as I was growing up, and it's not just towards the Pakistani community, and they think that they own that word when it was a slur against all Asians at the time. So yeah, I know I don't want to get your channel strike though. I don't know if what else did you want to speak about, or do you want to kind of wrap up, or you got things to do? How do you want to?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to ask me?
We'll run to a couple of things before we wrap up. I mean, first of all, you say you was on the phone to a few people, and I hope that they were supportive as well.
Yeah.
But
Big up, of course, man.
I've always thought, Raj, when will the day come where you will branch out, because the world's a big place and you've got a lot to say, and I think that you're wasted where you are. I really do think you're wasted, and I think there's other avenues and platforms, and we could certainly put you in places that would be far more interesting than just you. Places where it's a positive feedback, places where you should sometimes contemplate talking to other people about the project and just winding yourself up and wasting your talents, because you've got a lot of them.
Yeah, the thing is, like I'm an artist, so I draw a lot, and that gets a lot of. It's hard. So when I'm drawing, I kind of like relax, and it's like, I'm not stressed during that time. Look, it's hard for people to understand that I just like a bit of an argument sometimes. I'm sorry. I know people are not going to like that. I love a little bit of aggro. When I go to speakers corner and everyone's shouting at me, I love that shit. And I know it's not good to say that, because people will look and say, "Oh, you're crazy. You're a narcissist." But I don't know. It's just something about it that just I just feel good. I just like it. I can't help it. Like you must have that feeling when you're getting into kind of like a little bit of a rumble with the other side. Like when you're facing like Antifa off.
No comment.
Oh yeah. So you get that, and it looks very counterproductive. But that kind of rush, like everyone dislikes you. You've got this kind of like adversary right in front of you, and you're kind of outnumbered, and everyone wants to freaking get you. I love it. Like it's hard for me to explain. So
being hit with sticks, spat at, glasses thrown at us, and usually the drink afterwards is a very merry one. That's all I'll say.
yeah, everyone thinks I've never been in a fight. Yeah, I've been arrested twice and put in a police cell, so everyone thinks I'm very innocent. But when I used to drink, I used to get. I mean, I don't want to say this too much, but I've actually bottled someone, and I had to spend the night in this police cell. And I've been I've had a bottle chucked at me, and I've been punched in the face a few times. So it's not like I've never been attacked. I have been attacked a few times. It's not
committed upon another person, because virtually people will take that as I think.
Okay, let me explain. All right, so let me elaborate. My brother-in-law used to beat my sister, and I smashed a bottle in his head. Right, okay. Any brother would do that.
Yeah, because
so just to clarify. Yeah, and that's why they kind of like said, okay, we can understand. So he was a wife beater, so he wasn't some normal guy. So I don't condone violence unless it's kind of protecting your family and stuff. So so I don't know. I mean, tomorrow it's going to be a bit of fun for me. I mean, during the week I thought it might be a bit more serious, but it's not. I'm just going to go down, have a cool time. There's nothing really going on per se, but I need to double check. I can now differentiate. I think one of the big things that we need to start doing is like, because you have to understand, when these people are talking like this, they are literally like hogging the limelight, and what they're doing is like demonizing normal people that have got real concerns. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if he's saying that he wants to deport everyone and do X, Y, Z, and you see people kind of like listening to him, they might think that like Tommy Robinson or people like that want to do stuff like that as well. Because I have that narrative. Raupesh is just the same as Tommy Robinson. I was like, dude, he's nothing like Tommy Robinson. He's like, his views are totally different, and so that kind of narrative is going to be very counterproductive in the long run. But now he's saying he's Christian right. That's fine, man. As long as he sticks to that, we're cool, man. Oh, someone called me Abdul. I've been calling him Abdul. Yeah. I think you need to start getting some geography lessons, you little turd. I'm from the Punjab. Anything else? Go on.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a couple bits to talk about. I mean, because there's obviously people in here that don't know much about us, probably just to test us. For those of you that don't know, I read this all the time. My best friend in the world is actually Turkish, and we would choose each other's company 10 times out of 10. Well, I say
you sound a bit like Manny Cinder.
Who, me?
You know, Manny Cinder, my Sikh brother, he's very posh, and he says, "Oh, I had 2 black mates when I was 15. I'm not racist."
Well, the thing is,
Because everyone calls him racist.
because people say, "Oh, so what? So what?" If the fact is, if that was your belief system, you truly, I mean, we've lent each other money, stayed at each other's when we've got nowhere to stay.
Yeah.
You know, that's who I grew up with. So for me, it really is a valid argument. People can undermine it all they like. It really does piss on the whole narrative, and so I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being the actual victim, the victim of mentality. Like I said, if I took everything serious which happened to me, every lie said in any paper, article, online, or whatever, I'd have hung myself a long time ago. So people need to lighten up and stop being such pushcarts and learn to take facts for what they
I
are
think the
and stop.
biggest problem is, like, you know, you get the kind of like kind of slanderous claims of being a racist. Like, let me say something. I've spoken to you enough times. I've been with you, not like that, you dirty bugger, but I've been next to you a lot of times. And if I thought you was a racist, I wouldn't talk to you. If I thought Tommy Robinson, because I spent a bit of time with Tommy Robinson because we did that Day for Freedom march and stuff like that, and I was part of it. And I don't believe he's a racist. Is he a patriot? Yeah. Does he believe that, like I believe, that there are different types of races? I'm not saying one's better than another. Maybe. I classify myself from the Punjabi race, and if you think you're from the English race, cool. I don't have an issue with that. So it's kind of like the terminology for what a racist is so low that even acknowledging that there's different races makes you a racist. Do you understand?
That's right.
Even if you said that there are an African race and there's a Chinese race, some people might classify that as racist, because I've had that towards me. Oh, there's only one race. I'm like, dude, there's clearly different people from different parts of the world
I was listening
that are
to
different.
you was on a show earlier, and I heard someone saying, as a certain community, we have a responsibility to look after each other. As a certain community, we have a responsibility to do this.
Mm.
If you know what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
I thought, well, wait a minute, everyone denies us our nationality, and you're saying you have an individual community.
Mm.
Well, then how can we not be allowed to have this individual community? And safeguarding that would also be safeguarding the amount of numbers
Mm.
which are in the country. So it's identical to you saying we have a responsibility as, X belief system to look after people within that belief system. So is
Yeah,
that a form of nationality?
it is the same. It is the same. I mean, the thing is, I don't have a problem with tribalism. I know it sounds controversial, because I think people do want to be with people that are as closely genetically similar to them. Now, the problem occurs is that if those two communities' ideological beliefs are counter opposite too. So I'll give you an example. Like, if you have like Sikhs, when they first come down, they congregated in areas where there was a lot of Sikhs. I think that's just normal behavior, because you want to be closer to the people that are like you. But it doesn't mean that we don't have good relationships with, say, another community that is white indigenous. You could walk into our area, you could walk in, and so there's not that much of a difference in terms of like an totally alien culture, and there's a clash. The problem with the Islamic culture is that it kind of becomes, when it becomes ghettoized, it becomes totally different from the indigenous population's culture, that then becomes let's just say a culture, or a little world within a little world. Do you understand? It becomes like a separate place, so people don't feel comfortable going there because it feels so different. And I think that's the biggest difference between like the Hindu community and the Sikh community and the Muslim community. We don't have no political side to our religion. We don't want to convert anyone. You don't see Sikhs walking around trying to convert people. It's not part of our faith to go around doing dawah and converting. And we don't have restrictions on things like art or music or stuff like this, or want to impose anything per se, apart from wearing a turban and maybe one or two little things that are not that big. And I think that's the problem, why there's issues with like Muslims and the white indigenous population. I don't know if that's a correct assessment to you, or do you disagree or agree with that?
Yeah, firstly, I want to address a comment here because someone has said something which,
You're muffled a bit. You're muffled a
hang
bit.
on. a sec.
Okay. So what comment do I think he's going to read out?
Looking for a comment. Bear with me. Hang on.
Semantic says, have you noticed my sense of humor? Yeah, you're a little prick. You're low IQ degenerate humor.
Said
Get some qualifications, you little prick. Go school.
He said, Vin, either there or getting there. I can't quite tell, but look forward to a beer with you. I'll say this.
Okay.
No one with any intelligence, I hope, ever gives away their cards, and may all of the poisons that lurk in the mud hatch out, may justice be done, that the heavens may fall, however we have to get there. Read between the lines as you must, but all strategies must be followed for a plan to work. Kamikaze missions don't work, I'm afraid, ladies and gents. So anyway, before I go, I'm just going to say a few bits that we're going to be doing in the near future.
Yeah, go and do your thing, man.
Our friends at the constabulary can rest easy because we're going to go into some sort of, you know, boring documentary making and media coverage and all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
And, you know, try and sharpen up the image which they've managed to tatter across the boards, as it were. I mean, do you have any plans for the future apart from causing havoc for yourself?
I'm concentrating more on my artwork at the moment, and I'm trying to kind of. I've been doing. I was in Parliament 3 times in a row, so big up to myself. And it was actually anti-British propaganda in Parliament. Think about it. So this is the beauty of like democracy. So I can go into Parliament and because obviously you know my views. I don't agree with colonialism, but I'm pro-UK. So no one wants to be kind of like, you know, dictated from another place. Same way Britain doesn't want to be dictated from Europe, even if it's beneficial. Like I will agree, there was a lot of good things within the colonization, with a lot of bad. But it's a bit like the Romans when they went to England. The British don't like the Romans in England because they're an outside influence coming in, but they didn't break the roads down. They're still using the roads and the aqueducts and stuff like that. And that's the same with India in the sense that there was bad, but democracy and a few other things like secularism and you know, the judicial system is still being used as a kind of framework. And so although I have that kind of stance on it, I've forgotten my freaking train of thought. What was I saying then? Do you remember? Did you ask? I can't remember what exactly I was going to go down.
Vaguely.
Oh, no, everyone. Huh?
I was asking vaguely where you're going to be going from here.
Yeah. So I went to Parliament and I did a drawing about the Amritsar massacre of 1912, and it was a massacre against an unarmed population by the British. And so I did a drawing and I put it in Parliament, and we had some events down there. And that's kind of the beauty of, like, you know, moving forwards, like acknowledging the past and saying we made a mistake, let's move forwards, not mulling over it. Now, the problem I see with, like, you know, let me just say the Islamic. So I'll give an example. The British ruled India for like 150 years, and the Sikhs only for 100 years. And there was a lot of bad things that happened. There's no doubt about it. But the Islamic conquest was 800 years and resulted in 150 million killed. Do you know that? Yeah. But you never hear Asian Muslims condemning that. So if an Asian Muslim ever comes up to you and says, "Oh, Vinny, your people killed my people," ask them about the Islamic conquest, because they supported that. They agree with that because they were Muslims. And that's why I have a lot of problems with Muslims, because they condemn the British, which I do as well, but they don't condemn the Islamic conquest. They say it was a good conquest, even though 150 million people were put to the sword over 800 years. So you can see the hypocrisy there in terms of their kind of mindset. That's an argument that you should put in your pocket, Vinny, when they start talking about colonization of the Indian subcontinent. What do you think of Islamic conquest?
In real detail, even with Bob, I had to hold back because you've never seen me go in. And with our favorite Eastern religion, I would be very interesting if it was my free place to say so, Raj. I am very well equipped with this, and fear not for the arguments I'd have. But the hardest thing about it is learning to subdue that and knowing what you could say to crush certain arguments and being unable to say them because your own government will disallow you. So. But I saw a comment here. I think you'll know who this is. Someone just said something really nice about myself, and I want to know who it is.
One in the minute.
It's Toitn.
Oh, that's Dan. All right, Dan. How you doing, mate?
Okay, in that case, top man. Yeah, top man.
Don't say your Antifa, man.
Yeah, no. Listen, and I said yesterday. I said I don't think he is, but I said to him I couldn't care less if he is, because hopefully I can change that. because it doesn't matter, because we're so used to spies, we just won't give you the information. You can. So there's people, for instance, coming to us saying, "Oh, I want to do some artwork," because we're doing inductions, bringing people in, new recruits and what have you, and they're going, "Yeah, but you let me in. What if I'm a spy?" So I don't care. Give me some artwork, give me some stuff. As long as I don't tell you anything, you're still providing me with work. So you still deal with people, maybe convert them, but we do not let anyone get anything too
But
sensitive.
Dan's a bit of a cuck, you know. He got outnumbered by 3 females, and he was like in like crying like a woman on there when I jumped on last night. So we can't have cucks in any movement like that. He has to stay on the left.
Because we're wrapping up
with the limp arrested Beveren, because a lot of them are like that. So we have to thingy, man. The thing is that another argument you can use. You know the guy called Raspect. If you ever go back to Speaker's Corner, this guy is always talking about chattel slavery, and rightly so. So it's one of the worst crimes against humanity. But I've realized over the last couple of weeks now, he agrees or partially condones Islamic slavery, though. So you have Muslims at Speaker's Corner saying that chattel slavery is evil, but Islamic slavery is a good form of slavery. All slavery is bad, though, in my opinion. So this is the kind of like cognitive dissonance that I see all around Speaker's Corner. People justifying the justifiable, like, you know, hitting your wife lightly with a stick. It's like, dude, you can't hit women, like, even with a stick. So yeah.
for all these really important list of rules, there's a lot of people that have different. But it seems that too many people, especially at Speaker's Corner, have all these different descriptions of what should be pretty basic. If God said it, it should be pretty straightforward. I mean, God said it, and yet everyone seems to be unsure as to what it says. I mean, I say this quite often to Christians. I say, if I wrote a book, and I know you're religious, and I was the omnipotent entity which created everything, it would be the most interesting, fascinating book on space, time continuum, and all this stuff. It wouldn't be talking about not stealing my neighbour's cattle. That sounds suspiciously human to me.
No, but I agree with you, because a lot of people condemn Sikhs and say, "Oh, your book doesn't tell you to do things like not kill or not rape," and I'm like, dude, you should know that yourself. I mean, if I've got to tell you not to do it, you're a degenerate freaking savage. And so there's a problem with people, like, you know, they think that if you take away religion, like, you know, the Abrahamic faiths, that all of a sudden people are going to start killing each other and raping each other because they're not going to follow the rules of the law. But most people do not want to do that, unless you're that big Ed Raupesh, who's a lunatic. So, you know, it's kind of weird. I agree with you on that. Sikhs get a lot of stick that we have no real guidelines about that basic behavior.
What do you think he would have said? I reckon, because I reckon he was possibly fishing for a way to get round the fact he was running out of right-wing associates.
Yeah.
What do you think he said if I said yes, I was Christian? Do you think when I said I was atheist,
he would have went automatically to the Christian far right link, and he does have some people that are Christians that support him that I've seen who don't agree with his. I mean, even black people, they don't agree with his race, because he's a very bad racist. He believes in race realism. I mean, wholeheartedly. I mean, I can argue the case for why it's not. Now, let me say something before everyone goes on, because this could be a different topic. I believe different nations have different IQs. So I agree that, you know, India as an average might have an IQ of.
Get into that one. I really can't.
Oh, you won't get
into
it.
that one.
Oh, so let me just say something. So, but I don't believe that it's fixed by race. I believe it's fixed by. It can be moved by health conditions and poverty. So, whereas with Ralph, he believes in it wholeheartedly that it's a genetic thing, and no matter what you do, you can't move from your race, so you can't move up in the IQ scale. And that's coming from a half brown person. So just think about the logic. And he said he's got an IQ of 200. I don't know.
Territory, Raj.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy. Like, could you imagine? Like, I don't know even know what to say, man. I'll be honest. I'm kind of like, even with Dan tried to email me, yeah, and let me say, Dan tried to email me. I didn't reply to any of his emails because I was like, dude, this guy could be undercover freaking Antifa. I was like, I ignored them. Sorry, Dan. I'm not replying to those emails because I don't know what's going on in those bloody things. So one of the problems is, though, Vinny, I'm not going to say people like Raupesh are undercover agents, because I've been called an undercover agent. You understand? And I know I'm not.
Yes, but hang on. No, let's have it right, Raj. Let's have it right, because sometimes, you know, you're so brilliant, and then sometimes you miss something so small, which is massive.
Yeah.
The difference between you and them
Uh,
is the outlandish behavior. So
mm,
to suggest, the far right thing, we know it's taboo
mm.
in today's society. So to go that outlandish with it, you're just being yourself
Yeah.
ultimately. You're not going full bore with a whole ideology which is taboo, which is politically going to ruin people on
No,
the
no, no,
right.
no. My ideology is very in line with maybe Tommy Robinson. My solutions are different, though. This is the thing. I don't really. The thing about, sorry, all the Tommy Robinson fans go, "Oh, you're a traitor." Look, I don't have to agree with someone 100%. I can agree with someone 70%, 80%, and still support that person as long as it doesn't go below 60%. And right now, I still support around 80% of Tommy Robinson's kind of stance. I just don't sometimes. I feel a bit uncomfortable with the language, and I've met him before, so because I spent a bit of time with him, I give him a bit more leeway because he's still a young guy, man. Like I think people seem to forget that he's actually in his early 30s. Like, when I mean, it's a lot of pressure to be put in your head. So you're going to make some mistakes sometimes.
Hmm.
And so I give him a bit of leeway, but people think that by me giving someone leeway, so I can't win basically. If I don't condemn him for every little mistake he makes, I'm a blind follower. And if I do condemn him for a mistake he truly made, then I'm a traitor. And
Hmm.
so it's a no-win situation when it comes to this. Is why I always try to not align myself too much with one person, because I want the ability to be able to criticize whoever the hell I want. So if I want to criticize you, Vinny, I will. If I feel like I see something or see, I'll say yeah, I'll criticize. You're not above criticism, Vinny.
Because that's what I love about you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where is Sangmore, my good mate Sangmore?
He will be asleep. His daylight hours differ depending on his autism at the time. So,
All
at
right.
the his super spurred out autist nature has him waking up at around uh, 2 to 4 in the afternoon,
Yeah.
and then it's changed throughout the last few months, and
You
we
know
never know.
my time pattern's like that as well. I go to sleep 7 in the morning.
Yeah. Well, you two are very similar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the thing about Sangmore, he caused us a lot of grief. Remember that day when we done that live stream? It was such a good live stream, and then it went tits up.
Honestly,
Yeah,
honestly, really, because he really didn't mean some of the things he
yeah,
said
I
in
know, I know. I knew, and I had to. I was like, damn, that was bad.
Right, I have bollocked him on a nature unbelievable. Like, people wouldn't believe the way
Yeah,
that we've been scrupulous with him. So,
yeah. Remember when he went speaker's corner? I was like, damn, he's gonna get himself killed. Like,
oh,
get him out, get him out. So I'd love him to go speaker's corner, but he'll be like, I don't know, he'll be chased at the park in like literally like 5 hours, I think. So the police would probably remove him just because of the problem with the police at Speaker's Corner is they've told us openly that they go with the path of least resistance. So that means instead of penalizing the people that are causing the problems, they will remove the individual that's getting harassed. So with me, you saw from that video, I was one person or one or two people would be with Braden, and because there were so many people and it was getting out of order, they removed me rather than trying to control the crowd, which I think is I can kind of understand, but it's very frustrating. Especially at Speaker's Corner, having to remove people for their safety rather than removing the criminal element.
yeah, I mean, it's a shadow of a city in comparison with one before our time.
Don't
Anyway, I
worry,
think it's
we'll make London great again. Don't worry. Things will. The thing is, yeah, it's like a plaster. You got to put you got to kind of like make sure that the damage, lot of damage is kind of done in terms of uh, certain things. I won't go into detail, but overall, if Brexit can go ahead and people can start getting their head out their own freaking arse and start realizing that criticizing bad ideas doesn't make you an evil person or a racist or whatever. If something's bad, like you understand that I always say that if an immigrant comes to the UK like myself or the Sikhs and you contribute something good, then the British culture should take that on board and kind of mold it into the fabric of the nation. But if it's bullshit, then we don't want it. You understand? It's like the bad ideas need to be chucked out. Like we don't want to kind of like reduce freedom of speech. we don't want to kind of like, restrict people and ban certain things. I don't agree with alcohol because I don't drink, but I don't want to stop you, Vinny, from drinking. Do you understand?
Yeah, I mean, also the joke is, I mean, I don't drink as much as people would believe, and the excuses that people use to detest English people, they'd say something else. If we was teetotal, it would be, oh, you're boring. You know that. Basically, it comes down to fundamental cultural racism, and
Yeah, yeah.
to pick, straight up skin colored racism, and
Well,
it
what
would
do you think
finally.
about pubs closing down then? Because I was
What do you think? What do
Yeah,
you
no,
think?
no. It is the thing is, yeah, I don't really go pubs anymore because I don't really socialize outside. But I used to go to pubs when I used to, but I also used to go to pubs when I was sober. I don't know if I
Right,
saw you. I think I saw you last time in the pub, didn't I? In the
right.
city.
They're
Oh,
more.
sorry. You look. It was probably James Goddard. Sorry, I don't want to do that. Sorry, I apologize. You don't look the same, but I've mixed you two up. But
That's
I don't have no issue going into a pub drinking a Coke. I don't want to shut down pubs. Pubs are not necessarily a bad thing. But I remember I went to my local area and my sister lived there, and there was a pub's been there for like 30 years, I think. And it finally closed down. Like it was like, oh, all right. I don't agree with drinking, but I was like, okay, that's kind of like a weird thing that it closed down.
But this is the thing. Pubs aren't just pubs to us. So, for instance, Stratford had pubs, like Builders Arms and that, and people grew up for that. Their memories were there. Their mums and dads, at the barbecues and stuff and what have you. They're not just pubs. They're landmarks to where famous people once drank, or football teams, whatever. Many a story and many a place that is very cultural. And all it takes is getting rid of those buildings. It's very easy to then replace the community. I mean, the community tends to go because
Mm,
there's a deliberate
mm,
influx, which makes the host community feel uncomfortable by
mm,
being outnumbered so quickly. And then what
mm,
happens is what's known as white flight. And
mm,
then you get paid for this white flight. So if you stay and you
mm,
mix, you get done for cultural appropriation. If you
mm.
leave, you get done for white flight. Right?
Yeah.
So whatever you do as a white person, you are due condemnation. End of.
Yeah. You're in a lose-lose situation. I've seen it. Like that's why people become limp-wristed cucks, like Dan. Sorry, Dan. You got real Maggie in the house as well, who hosted us yesterday. Hosted you yesterday, and you had a little bit of a falling out with. But you're cool. He's actually a good guy. He's a new
You know,
guy at Speaker's Corner. So
yeah,
yeah. Let me say something to you, real Maggie. Vinny, at first kind of meeting, comes across as a freaking lunatic, but he's actually a very nice guy. So that's a compliment, a backhanded compliment. But when I did first meet you,
I'm
uh,
observant, shall we say.
yeah. So you do have that kind of demeanor that I've said to people that people get the wrong end of the stick, but you're actually a decent guy. People are still saying you're goddamn Nazi, racist. I don't know what more you can do. What more can you do?
Just
I
got
don't
to,
think you can ever win.
just got
I
to
don't think you can. Yeah. Same with me. It's like, all right, you want to call me Islamophobe? Cool. I don't believe I am. Prove it. And do you know what? The worst thing is they can't prove it because I've never cussed out the religion of Islam. And I don't say nothing about the prophet or their prophet. I don't say nothing about the God, or I don't say nothing about the Quran. I criticize bad ideas like Sharia. Um, you know,
Well,
like stoning people is a bad idea.
I've never seen you do anything like Tan did.
Oh yeah, Tan. Yeah, that's he went a bit hoo-hoo, Lulu, because he fell in love, didn't he? That little lunatic.
Oh, for Christ.
You know who he fell in love with. You
No,
know.
this is what I mean, though, because if I was still with my ex-partner, right, I
Mm,
wouldn't have done all this stuff. The saying goes, like I said earlier, love makes you weak. And not
yeah.
only that, it's that mild in the mind. Now, I understand if you've been with someone for years, you'll be a soft touch for them. But if you're that mild
Mm,
in the mind,
mm,
someone can manipulate you that early, you
mm.
are not fit for purpose. You are not fit for the screen or political discourse.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that why I said I can't trust people that are easily saved by women and alcohol. Now, Tan was a very focused individual. I didn't agree with everything, and
Yeah,
me and him fell out way before he left.
yeah, about weaknesses. We found Tan's weakness wasn't money, it wasn't power, it was
Mm.
women.
Yeah, and he went freaking loony, like literally lost his freaking mind. He was doing things that were out of character, irrational, and it was just like, dude, calm yourself down, man. Have a freaking cold shower, maybe have a freaking I don't know what to do with him. So it was just yeah, I remember him kind of self-imploding, and by the time that point happened, there was nothing that he could do to ever come back, and he cut all ties with everyone because he was, you know the story. I won't go into. We don't want to go into that, but you know what happened behind the scenes and everything, and the tank kind of fell for the femme fatale kind of situation. Sorry, Lucy Brown, I'm not calling you femme fatale, but I'm just saying women can manipulate men very easily, like that. So, what else did you want to talk about then, Vinny?
I think we're just about ready. I'm just going to give a few shout outs to people that obviously aren't familiar
All
with
right.
us. So
Yeah, let me have a look. Can I have a look through there and shout some people out as well? Some of my usuals.
go for it.
You. All right. So big up. If I don't say your name, it doesn't mean. It does mean I don't think you're important. I won't even lie, to be honest, because I can't read everyone's name. The problem is, no point lying. I can't read all of them, can I? So only the ones that are important, I'll have to say. Angela Murnahan.
Time you
Oh
leave the
God.
front, thousands of birds out there.
Dexter Rika. I've got to say his name. Now I'm feeling a bit thingy. I don't know. All right, let me just have a quick look. JK. Big up JK. Do you know this JK guy? He's a Muslim brother, like Muslim brother. He's getting so much stick because he wants to battle extremism within his community, and people think he's a freaking agent or something, and he's not.
A good thing.
Real Maggie, obviously, he's doing his own little thingy. All right. So nothing. TO, do you know what? I can't be bothered. They're too. I can't be bothered. You do your thing, man. Go.
I wasn't going to go through the chat. I mean, thanks to Dan for dropping in.
Yeah.
Dan, I think before we first spoke a while back, probably thought I was the polar opposite to what I am.
Yeah. It sounds like you're on the moon.
Am I? Does it sound like I'm far away?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
Let me just say one last shout out to Uruk Hunt. Yeah, you're a Uruk Sea Hunt. So you know what I'm saying, you little prick. Change your name. Go.
Yeah, so I had to buy some headphones because I broke my other ones, and I got some of them £5 ones in a little sort of corner shop. So it's the best I could get last minute.
Oh, you got like pound shop freaking
Yeah,
headphones. Oh, cool.
proper boomer.
I can imagine your reputation is shot, man.
Oh,
1 minute you was crying over your jacket being spilt on. Now you got like £1 headphones. How can you walk the street again? That's worse than being called a Nazi, isn't it?
because the jacket's waterproof. It's what I spilt, which I wanted to keep, to be honest.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'd rather be called a Nazi than with nasty headphones and have my coat ruined. So
Well, looks like I am once again the victim.
yeah, I know. It's a disaster, man. You can't win. What can you do, Vinny? I don't know, man.
In this society, help me. I need some space to be safe, Raj.
We need to like make some kind of like, I don't know, safety boundary around you. Maybe we'll have like 5 small little black people, because they can't hit black people, small black people, and so that would be your ultimate defense against any kind of attack.
Yeah, because we all sit in the pub, all just crying, in our jackets, just sort of leaning on each other, going, "Oh, this is so bad." What do?" So,
and before everyone says, Raj, you're racist, I'll put a turban on them as well and say, brown or black Sikh men to protect Vinny, because that's the ultimate ethnicity, isn't it? Like, all the kind of like things that they can't hit. So yeah, we'll do that. Someone's going to clip that, and they're going to freaking. I know already.
Can you imagine? Just watch tomorrow. Go on, do your best, crew.
They always do that. I love watching them back, as long as they're done in a funny way. But some people are just crass, low IQ pricks, and they don't know that there's a good way to troll someone. There's a bad way, and when it's humorous, I've had some great videos of because everyone calls me Pigeon, so there's a lot of videos of me with my head on a pigeon.
Why are they all anonymous? It really is. But I don't care if you make the video, but have the balls to have a pseudonym at least, or most of them are just sort of these anonymous. Or they have pseudonyms.
I give them opportunities to jump onto the panel, but they're all pussy holes. Yeah, they're all 90% of them. When you call them out, I'll give them links and say jump on, pussy hole, and they won't come on because they'll get roasted like no freaking prick's been roasted before. And so they're all kind of like internet keyboard warriors. And I've had so many threats over the last 2 years. I don't even take them seriously anymore. Like, everyone's saying, we're going to come speak as corner, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Where are they? They haven't freaking done anything yet. So most of the people, I think there will be 1 or 2 that are serious, but majority, 99% of them are just like degenerates. sitting in their house with no clothes on, food dribbling down their face, sitting in their own excrement, and a urinal bag as well, just because they don't have to go piss. And that's the level of savagery that we got on the panel sometimes. All right, that's me complimenting the viewers again. So
yeah, as usual, making friends among the Raj.
well,
Let's
it's
call
hate
it.
facts, isn't it? Hold on, but it's hate facts then, isn't it? I'm telling the truth. We'll talk about hate. But I'll come back on next time, and when Sangmore's here in a couple of weeks, when we've got something to talk about.
He's going to be on his best behaviour. So you want saying more? We'll do it. We'll do it
Yeah,
next Saturday.
and get Glenn on as well, man. Get Glenn on as well. Get Glenn on as well. So
We'll do it next week if you like, and because
yeah.
I might want to jump on one to cover it because I get the feeling after this there might be some questions to be asked. So I might have to jump on another one tomorrow.
Yeah. You do know at the park there's going to be some kind of veterans thing next week Sunday.
I do.
Yeah, you're going to be coming down, or it's too hot for you?
I never say when I am or aren't going. It's not in my.
All right, so just so that you know, I'll probably be there. I'll probably be at the Tommy Robinson court event on the last day. I don't know if you're going to be. Don't tell me if you are. Text me if you are. If you want, it's up to you. Don't worry. I won't tell no one. Yeah. So if anyone's down there, I'll see you. You're not going to be able to spot me though because I'm very incognito. I just look like everybody else. You know that, really, don't you? No. Everyone always says, "Oh, was you there?" Like people say, "Oh, was you at the Tommy Robinson?" I was like, "Dude, did you not see the one Sikh dressed as a freaking ISIS?" Looks like ISIS.
Looks
like. Have you seen me during the winter time? I look like freaking Batman. I'm gonna
to come down there.
Have you seen me during the winter? Yeah, I freaking look like some lunatic. Yeah, because I had all these gloves on like Batman. I've got these belts. And all this stuff. I look like I'm freaking going to war, man. So yeah, I'm gonna be down there. So don't worry. I will say if you come over to me to talk, I don't talk to peasants. So you'll have to go through my security, whoever I choose on the day. So get some permission beforehand. I'll invite people to talk.
Yeah, my people talk to your people. We'll arrange the security details so that obviously because we're both so incredibly important.
Yeah, we need to just walk around and say, "You peasants, move away. We haven't got time for this shit." And just talk between ourselves while the peasants try and get a bit of a word in edgeways. So yeah, I will be down there. I am quite approachable. But I'll be honest with you, if you see me on the road, yeah, don't come over to me expect a nice response because people come up to me on the road and they think I'm going to be nice to them. I'm freaking really rude because I don't know if you're friend or foe, and I'm going to treat you as a foe until you prove otherwise. Are you like that as well?
I can't give away too much because there are always traps out there to get you into problems. So I can't say how I perceive people because if I did, you'd just act accordingly to trick me.
Yeah. I've just come to the rule because people in the beginning would come up to me and go, Raj, we like you. And one time I fell for it. They put their arm around me and they go, "Oh, you're a prick," and then ran off. So after that, I'm just rude to everybody unless they prove otherwise for whatever. So I apologize if I am. And if you can prove that you do, that you're a decent person, I'll kind of open up and talk a little bit. But I haven't got time to talk to regular people, so I need to go home after. Anyway, Vinny, I heard I'm getting trolled on the other channel. Yeah, they're calling me a coon. That I'm like the biggest, whitest brown person ever. I'm like
for being in here.
Yeah. I'm a coon.
Have they even listened to it? Have they even listened to it?
I mean, the thing is, yeah, they can't accept that, this little Asian Sikh guy might be a free thinker who can think for himself and not go with a group herd. And they find it very difficult to handle people like me because it's totally impossible to sway me unless I want to go that way. So I'll go with even opinions that aren't that popular. Anyway, man, I'm going to be off. I don't want to talk too much. I've already done that.
I'll see you shortly, and thank you so much for your time. Next week we'll do it again. I'll get out on and we'll let
we'll do it again. We'll do it as a kind of like, invite me once in a while. Try and get Braden as well at some point.
Yeah, I'll definitely need to have a chat with him. But I know I've got a lot on tomorrow, but I'll definitely make time.
Yeah. All right, man. Anyway, everybody, take care. I'm gonna be seeing how much hate we get afterwards. Anyway, man, take care, Vinny. I'll speak to you later on. All right.
Take care, man. Everyone else which has bothered to listen to us, thank you very much. Those in the comments that are saying, "What a waste of time." I noticed that you are the same names that have been in here for a good hour and a half. So thank you very much for contributing. I'll see you all very soon. And as always, think for yourself because no one else can do it for you. And I do apologise about my dodgy headphones. Take care.